I'm in GT, my brother is Broly. Chapter 226. Chaosai turned into a temptation. Simple. Looking at King Saiyan, Bupa said indifferently, I need your 6th and 3rd Saiyans to surrender to me. But I found Gabe before, but he told me that I would only be loyal to you, so I came to you. 35. Hearing this, all around Saiyan were dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, Bupa's purpose is actually this. In order to make Saiyan surrender to himself, but after the other party refused, he came to King Saiyan. This sounds okay, but it also makes everyone feel a little wrong. Without him, if it is true as Bupa said, then this matter seems to be out of their control. And why would they give up their comrades and even submit them to the Bupa in front of them? Although everyone is Saiyan, it is not a universe after all, and in a sense, it is not enough for them to give Gabe to Bupa. Why? Frowning, King Saiyan asked hesitantly at the moment. He knew that a Bupa in front of him was absolutely determined to win. Even if the latter can break into the palace, he also possesses absolute power. Even though everyone was Saiyan, he knew that he couldn't refuse Bupa. Exchange. With an indifferent smile, Bupa glanced at Saiyan and said immediately, I need 3 Saiyans, including Gabe, to be loyal to me. And with absolute loyalty to me, they don't need to leave me, they can stay with you, and even I can help so Saiyan become stronger. The premise of all this is that the 3 of them are only loyal to me, not you. Tilda. Hearing this, King Saiyan couldn't help swallowing. He didn't care about the words Bupa said to make the 3 of Gabe surrender. What he cares more about was that Bupa said that they could instruct them to become stronger. From Bupa's body, he could already sense a powerful aura that none of the Saiyan warriors had. So, now Bupa's mouth to help him become stronger makes him quite curious, even a little doubtful. King Bupa. Subconsciously, King Saiyan said, then what can you teach us? How to make all Saiyans stronger? As soon as these words came out, the Saiyan warriors all around looked at Bupa curiously. I don't know where the latter's confidence comes from. And where does the confidence come from? Not only them, but also the Saiyans who have gathered here at this moment, especially Gabe and others. Califla and Kale are no exception. Transform. With an indifferent smile, Bupa glanced at everyone around him, then stepped forward and said, I can teach you to perform Super Saiyan transformation. 99. Saying that, Bupa thought and drank in a low voice, ha. The next second, Bupa's body was full of rage, and he immediately transformed into the appearance of Super Saiyan. What is that? Golden Warrior. Can we Saiyan also transform? Watching this scene dumbfounded, the Saiyan warriors present were stunned. Everyone couldn't believe what they saw in front of them, and even felt astonished from the bottom of their hearts. Super Saiyan. At this moment, King Saiyan looked at Bupa excitedly, and said with bright eyes, this is a legendary Golden Warrior in the clan. It is said that in ancient times, there were also Golden Warriors in our Saiyan clan. At that time, we Saiyan were the most powerful race in the universe, and countless clansmen could transform into Golden Warriors to protect the peace of the universe. It was because of a disaster that all the Golden Warriors died in battle. But I waited for Saiyan, but no Golden Warriors were born. Before I thought it was because of the bloodline, but I didn't expect the Golden Warrior to be our Saiyan's transformation ability. As soon as these words came out, there was an uproar around Saiyan. Golden Warrior. They all know this legend. Now it seems that the Golden Warrior is not a legend, but actually exists, and even a form that they do not know how to transform. This is the Super Saiyan transformation. Looking at King Saiyan, Bupa said indifferently, once you complete the transformation of Super Saiyan, you can increase your combat power by 50 times. 9. And once you complete Super Saiyan 2, you can increase your combat power by 100 times. Saying that, Bupa clenched his fists, and immediately transformed into Super Saiyan 2. A new transformation. Increase the combat power by 100 times. Looking at this scene, King Saiyan and all the Saiyan warriors around were stunned. Looking at the power Bupa showed at this moment in disbelief, everyone's eyes flashed with horror and disbelief. So strong. Cool. Did you see that? The Golden Warrior is so strong. 55. To be able to suddenly increase the combat power by 100 times is simply incredible. Califla shouted excitedly, and shook while holding Kale beside her. Who? At this moment, the figures of the two were discovered, and a Saiyan soldier stepped forward and caught them out. Califla. Seeing Califla and Kale, the patrol captain who was with Gabe changed his expression, and quickly stepped forward. Everyone, this is my sister Califla, she has no ill intentions. Kael, is this your sister? Hearing this, the warrior who grabbed Califla and Kale was stunned for a moment, and then said with a smile, it seems that she is also a qualified warrior. Although he knew the danger, he still came to support the palace as soon as possible. These words are obviously to exonerate Califla and Kale, otherwise, it would be disrespectful for the two to break into the palace. Therefore, the captain's words directly defined Califla and Kale as rescuers, so that Califla and both of them would not be punished. Oh, it's them. Get Zhao Zhao. Bupa also noticed this scene, his eyes flashed, and he murmured, what a surprise. I thought I was looking for it, but I didn't expect it to appear directly. Saying that, Bupa looked at King Saiyan and said, King Saiyan, my conditions have been made clear. 39. As long as you make Gabe, as well as Califla and Kale over there, submit to me and become my people. Then I will teach you Super Saiyan transformation skills. And Super Saiyan has more powerful transformations in addition to the 2 transformations I just cast. As long as you convince the 3 of them to be completely loyal to me, then I can also teach it to the 3 of them, and then they will teach you Saiyan. How many people can learn it is your own problem. Guda 1 Issue 1. As soon as these words came out, the audience fell silent. Everyone was stunned by Bupa's sudden remarks, especially Califla and Kyle, who couldn't believe it. Chapter 227 Gabe, Califla, and Kale surrender. It's us. It was them. Staring blankly at Califla and Kyle in the distance, no one thought that Bupa would choose 2 little girls besides Gabe. And judging from the current situation, whether it is Califla or Kale, their strength is not considered strong. Not only them, including Gabe is no exception. So why did Bupa choose only the 3 of them and not the rest of Saiyan? Thinking of this, King Saiyan looked at Bupa subconsciously and said, King Bupa, are you sure? You really only need to make the 3 of them submit to you, and you can tell us how to transform Super Saiyan, and even teach them a higher-level transformation form? As soon as these words came out, the eyes of everyone around turned to Bupa. Although they didn't know why Bupa made such a choice, they could all see that this matter was extremely beneficial to themselves and others. Moreover, although the latter made the 3 of Califla surrender, but they did not take away the thoughts of the 3. This also means that the latter just wants to find a successor, or it is a disciple. Although absolute loyalty is required, this is nothing compared to the future of the entire Saiyan clan. Certainly. Nodding his head 177, Bupa gave King Saiyan an admiring look. The latter being able to advertise it so widely, or even confirm it again and again, means that he has already agreed to this matter from the bottom of his heart. The reason why he said it, and even confirmed it over and over again, was simply to make Saiyan around him recognize it. It is good. After receiving Bupa's reply, King Saiyan turned his head to look at the people around him and said, Bring Gabe, Califla and Kale up. Yes, my king. With a promise, Saiyan around him understood that this was an opportunity. After looking at each other, Gabe, Califla and Kale followed the lead of the crowd to the area inside the arena. Gabe, Califla, Kale. Looking at the 3 people arriving in front, King Saiyan immediately said, You have heard King Bupa's conditions, and I want to hear your choice. Although transforming into a golden warrior is the highest pursuit of my Saiyan clan, this matter also depends on your own wishes. Would the 3 of you be willing to submit to King Bupa for our 6th universe Saiyan and become his heirs? This is so ingenious. King Saiyan didn't make his own decisions, which would also make it feel like he was desperate to become a golden warrior. But he also made all the stakes clear, and even took out Saiyan's righteousness and future. As long as the 3 of Gabe are not idiots, they all know how to choose. After all, this is a matter of race, not personal thoughts. Of course, although Bupa could see King Saiyan's thoughts, he didn't want to stop him. After all, the 3 of Gabe are the purpose of his coming to the 6th universe this time, and his purpose can only be considered to be completely accomplished if he is fully brought under his command. My king, I am willing. Almost instantly, Califla was the first to speak. After I learn all the transformations of King Bupa, I will teach it to the rest of Saiyan. As soon as these words came out, King Saiyan and the surrounding Saiyans all leaked smiles. Califla's words have already explained the problem. Although she will be loyal to Bupa in the future, she will not forget Saiyan of the 6th universe. How my sister chooses, I will choose how. At this time, Kale also said timidly. For a time, both Califla and Kale made a choice. But Gabe was still shocked at the moment. Unlike Califla and Kyle, Gabe is obviously more mature and more aware of the relationship between them. If you choose to agree now, you will certainly get stronger power, but you will not be able to be loyal to King Saiyan, which is not in line with the education he has received. Gabe. Seeing this, the eyes of the Saiyan, King and others also focused on Gabe. They can all see that the latter is still a little hesitant, which is really not good news. Subconsciously, Califla's brother said, The Golden Warrior is the future of my Saiyan family. If we don't learn to transform like this, then our Saiyan's power will not be enhanced, and then we will not be able to protect the peace of the universe. 95. And to make you surrender to King Bupa does not make you betray the Saiyan family. King Bupa is also Saiyan, although not the Saiyan of our universe, but he is still King Saiyan. As soon as these words came out, Gabe's body shook. Subconsciously looking at Bupa on the side, there was a hint of astonishment in his eyes. You are also King Saiyan? Good. Nodding, Bupa said indifferently, In my universe, I am indeed King Saiyan. So, Gabe, you can tell me your options now. As soon as these words came out, the eyes of King Saiyan and others all focused on Gabe. If the latter refuses, then this matter can really fall short. I see. Taking a deep breath, Gabe came back to his senses, looked at Bupa and knelt down on one knee and said, Saiyan Gabe swears allegiance to King Bupa, and Gabe will be loyal to you from now on, and will never give up. As soon as these words came out, Califla and Kale on the side also reacted. After looking at each other, the 2 women also knelt down and said, Saiyan Califla swore allegiance to King Bupa, and Gabe will be loyal to you from now on, and will never give up. 99. Saiyan Kale swore allegiance to King Bupa, and Gabe will be loyal to you from now on, and will never quit. Ding. Check if someone swears allegiance and whether the host is bound. The system prompt rang quietly. Bind. 35. Without the slightest hesitation, Bupa made his choice. In the next second, Bupa's eyes flashed, and the information of the 3 Gabes appeared in front of him. Add. Gabe, race, Saiyan, bloodline, superior bloodline, combat strength, 50 trillion, transformation, none, ability, Ki blast, Kaigong blast, flying technique, loyalty, 98, Califla, race, Saiyan, bloodline, superior bloodline, combat strength, 80 trillion, transformation, none, ability, Ki blast, Kaigong blast, flying technique, loyalty, 95, Kale, race, Saiyan, bloodline, medium passage, combat strength, 30 trillion, transformation, none, ability, Ki blast, Kaigong blast, flying technique, loyalty, 91. Chapter 228 Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Taohong, Saiyan Blood of Evil. Not bad. 99. Good. After reading the information of the 3, Bupa's eyes showed a hint of satisfaction. The combat power of the 3 of Gabe is not weak, not even inferior to Son Goku and the others. It's just that they are only strong in basic combat power, but they don't know anything about the ability to transform. Therefore, as long as they complete the transformation, the strength of the 3 of them will be improved by leaps and bounds. The most important thing is that the talents of the 3 people are different, and this is only achieved in the case of self-cultivation. If you teach it properly for a period of time, then your strength will be greatly improved, especially Kale. As Chuanchao, her potential is undoubtedly the most powerful existence among the 3. Ding. Detecting that the loyalty of the bound character Gabe reaches 90, triggers the tenfold return ability, and rewards the host's superstition for transformation. 35. Ding. Detecting the loyalty of the bound character Califla reaches 90 to trigger a tenfold return ability, rewarding the host superstition Taohong for transformation. Ding. Detecting that the loyalty of the bound character Kael reaches 90, triggers the tenfold return ability, and rewards the host with a drop of Saiyan's blood. Super Race God. Super Race God Pink. Blood of Saiyan of Evil. Seeing the reward for subduing the 3, Bupa's breathing quickened. Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan God Taohong are nothing but transformations after completing Super Saiyan God. At most, it is equivalent to the full power of the Super 4, or it is stronger, but the power of the increase is limited and not enough to make Bupa too excited. But this evil Saiyan blood is completely different. In Dragon Ball Super World, Saiyan of Evil is more powerful than Broly. In a state of rage, Kamba can compete with Super Blue and Super 4, and even Super Blue Vegeta and Super 4 Vegeta can compete in Super Tournament form. From this, it can be seen that Saiyan's bloodline is, in a sense, an existence that surpasses Chuanchao. In other words, Saiyan of Evil is one of Chuanchao's performances after he has taken it to the next level. This drop of Saiyan Blood of Evil is definitely a huge benefit for Bupa. If Broly can refine it, then Broly's bloodline will mutate and become stronger. In the same way, under the action of the system, Bupa's own blood power will also become stronger. Even under the power of the evil Saiyan, whether it is in the state of anger, the super game or the super transfer mode will be increased to a certain extent. Good. Thinking of this, Bupa couldn't help laughing. Looking at the 3 of Califla on the ground, he waved his hand. So, the 3 of you get up. Califla, I will teach you the Super Saiyan transformation now. Hearing this, Califla was stunned for a moment, then looked at Bupa excitedly and said, Really? King Bupa, are you really going to teach me Super Saiyan transformation? As soon as these words came out, everyone around looked at Bupa, especially King Saiyan. He remembered that Bupa said before that he would teach them Super Saiyan transformation. Now he is pointing Califla to transform. In a sense, he is pointing himself and others. Kael. Almost instantly, King Saiyan said, Call all Saiyan warriors at once. Yes, my king. Add. With a promise, Kael immediately understood King Saiyan's thoughts. Bupa instructs Califla, and they can try it out, while all Saiyan warriors learn this transformation technique. For a time, Kael quickly began to gather Saiyan warriors around. In this regard, Bupa saw but did not stop anything. After all, this is what he promised before, and he will not rashly go back on his word. Thinking of this, Bupa looked at Califla on the ground and said, That's right. 99. Get ready, adjust your state, and when the Saiyan warriors arrive, I will teach you how to transform. Yes. As soon as she agreed, Califla was very excited. Immediately afterwards, she also began to quickly adjust her state. The Saiyan kings on the side were all smiles at the moment, and they were extremely recognized for Bupa's behavior of waiting for everyone to arrive. For a time, everyone's eyes on Bupa were filled with kindness, and there was no more anger before. As time passed, the Saiyan warriors on the planet soon gathered outside the palace. The densely packed Saiyan warriors gathered together, but their eyes were all curiously looking at where Bupa was. They all already knew what was going on, and Bupa was going to teach them the Golden Warrior form. 0 flowers. This is something that all Saiyan warriors are excited to look forward to. My lord, everyone has arrived. At this time, Kael's figure came to King Saiyan's side, bowed and saluted. Except for the soldiers who are performing tasks in the outside world, the rest of the soldiers have gathered. 5. It is good. Nodding, a smile appeared on King Saiyan's face. Immediately afterwards, his eyes turned to where Bupa was and said, King Bupa, it's almost time to start. Nodding his head, Bupa glanced at the densely packed Saiyan warriors, and immediately hesitantly no longer hesitated. He looked at Califla and asked, is Califla ready? Ready. Nodding heavily, Califla stood up and said excitedly, Master Bupa, please also teach me how to transform. Nodding, Bupa stepped forward. After arriving at the area where Califla was, he reached out and touched the area on her back. Gather all the chi here. Continuously injecting chi into this place, you can unlock the shackles in your body, thus completing the Super Saiyan transformation. It's that simple. Hearing this, Califla and the people around were stunned. You can transform by gathering chi in the area behind you? Isn't the transformation of this Golden Warrior too easy? Yes. Nodding, Bupa also wanted to complain at the moment. Different from the difficulty of the transformation of Saiyan in the 7th universe and GT universe, the transformation method of Saiyan in the 6th universe is simple and crude. But soon, Bupa seemed to think of something, and then said, to complete the transformation, you need to have enough S cells in the body. This S cell is something that only peace warriors can be born, and it will gather in your back. As long as you are real peace fighters and have enough S cells, you can transform into success as long as you inject a steady stream of chi. I see. S cells. Is it something that only peace warriors have? After listening to Bupa's remarks, everyone present was enlightened and understood that the transformation of the Golden Warrior is not as simple as it seems on the surface. Chapter 229 Teach Califla, full name Chaosai. But precisely because of this, the Saiyan warriors present were even more excited. Not for anything else, because everyone knows what this S-Cell and Peace Fighter represents. That is to transform into Golden Warriors, which means that they are definitely peaceful warriors. This is what Saiyans have always boasted about, but they have not been recognized. But it's different now. As long as you complete the Golden Warrior transformation, it also means that you will definitely be a peaceful warrior. I understand. Nodding her head, Califla no longer hesitated, and immediately began to mobilize her chi to gather towards her back. As the low roar continued to resound, it could be seen that Califla's body began to be filled with golden aura. Impressively, she has entered the stage of Mimic Saiyan. Although the transformation of Super Saiyan has not been completely completed in 180, he has a great grasp of it. Under such circumstances, Bupa did not hesitate, and immediately injected a breath of his own into Califla's body. It was at this moment that Califla's body shook violently, receiving the blessing of Bupa's power, and she completely broke the shackles of herself. With a low drink, golden air rose into the sky, and Califla completed the transformation of Super Saiyan under the gaze of countless Saiyan warriors. Success. That's the Golden Warrior. Golden Warriors can really transform into Golden Warriors. Watching this scene blankly, countless Saiyan warriors cheered at this moment. Everyone got excited. Califla's success means that what Bupa says is true. This also means that he and others also have the possibility to complete the transformation of the Golden Warrior. Success. I'm done transforming. At the same time, Califla was also excited. Feeling the 50-fold increase in combat power in his body, he hugged Bupa's arm excitedly and said, Lord Bupa, I succeeded. Thank you Mr. Bupa. 66.99. Feeling the softness of that scale, the corners of Bupa's mouth rose slightly. Although Califla is still small, the scale is not small, and there is still a lot of room for growth. Thinking of this, Bupa immediately said, King Saiyan, you can let those under your command try it out. A Saiyan with a combat power of more than 3.5 million can be transformed, but whether he can succeed at once depends on his talent and understanding. I understand. Nodding, King Saiyan immediately understood what Bupa was referring to. Saiyan warriors with over 3.5 million combat power. Although many people have not achieved it, there are more people who go beyond this basic condition. Thinking of this, King Saiyan immediately said, everyone, try it out. 35. Let's see if more Golden Warriors can be born. Yes, my king. 99. With a promise, the Saiyan warriors present were also ready to move at the moment. What? Clame. For a while, the low roar continued to resound. A Saiyan warrior can be seen pouring his chi into his back. With the passage of time, countless golden radiance can be seen. A silhouette of a mimetic Super Saiyan appeared. Although it has not been completely completed, its power has also improved a lot. Under such circumstances, the entire area was almost covered in golden light, which made King Saiyan very excited. Suddenly, a low roar resounded. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that Kael has completed the transformation of Super Saiyan, and the whole person has completely become Super Saiyan. Brother succeeded. Seeing this situation, Califla was overjoyed. Also surprised was King Saiyan, whose first escort was Kael. Now he has turned into a golden warrior, which is definitely the greatest good news for King Saiyan. After all, becoming a golden warrior represents the heart of peace, and it means that the latter does not have a mind that he does not know. Ha ha. It was at this moment that low-pitched roars resounded throughout the arena. Looking at the sound, you can see that a Super Saiyan was born. While many have merely completed mimicry, there are too many Saiyan fighters. This also led to the birth of Super Saiyan faster, and the mimic Super Saiyan can complete the transformation of Super Saiyan as long as he works hard for a period of time. Ha ha. Seeing this, King Saiyan burst into laughter. The result of this was extremely satisfying for him, even though he gave up the loyalty of the three of Califla, but it has also exchanged the power of the entire race. After the transformation of Super Saiyan, the Saiyan family will definitely be the strongest race in the 6th universe. At that time, Saiyan's peace will also spread to the entire universe, and even take care of more weak people. Ha! At this moment, a low roar resounded. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that Gabe has also completed the transformation of Super Saiyan. It's just that he was obviously a little reluctant at the moment. After completing the Super Saiyan transformation, he kept breathing and looked extremely embarrassed. Gabe also succeeded. This scene suddenly made many people around him show envy. You must know that Gabe's grade is very young. Although he is 2 or 3 years older than Califla and Kael, he is only in his 20s. In this group of people, he is definitely a junior, but he has also completed the transformation of Super Saiyan, which shows how good his talent is. For a time, everyone seemed to understand why Bupa chose Gabe and Califla. Immediately afterwards, their gazes also subconsciously looked at where Kael was. Compared to the success of Califla and Gabe's transformation, Kael at this moment is obviously a failure. No matter how she injected her chi into her back, there was no possibility of completing the super race. What's the situation? Why can't Kael? 0.7 She didn't even complete the mimicry. Doesn't she have enough peace of mind? Seeing this, the faces of King Saiyan and others became a little ugly. Saiyan, who met the conditions on the scene, almost completed the mimicry, which means that there is no problem with their transformation. However, Kael's power is obviously strong, but it still cannot be completed. What does this mean? Insufficient peace of mind? Or lack of S cells? If that's the case, then what is Kael in the Saiyan clan? If there is no peace of mind, isn't she an outlier? Sister. Feeling the eyes of everyone around him, Kai was startled for a moment, and looked at Califla nervously. Although she is still young, she also understands what it means to be unable to transform herself. Chapter 230 The Shock of Chuanchao. The eldest princess Kael. Kael, you. Califla was also dumbfounded at the moment. Unexpectedly, my little sister can't transform, not even mimicking this. Master Bupa. Subconsciously, Califla looked at Bupa. You know, once Kael is confirmed to be unable to transform, it means that she is not a peace fighter. By then, Kael will even be hostile to the entire Saiyan race. After all Saiyans are peace warriors, and they have a heart of peace. Your Kael's strength is enough, but you can't transform. Then there is only one possibility. You have no peace of mind. Do not be nervous. In response, Bupa smiled indifferently, and understood what Califla and the others were thinking. Immediately afterwards, Bupa walked to Kael's side, reached out and rubbed her head. Don't worry. 35. Your situation is indeed different from Califla and the others. Califla and others are ordinary Saiyans, and your bloodline belongs to the legendary Super Saiyan like me. The legendary Super Saiyan. Hearing this, Kale, Califla and everyone around looked at Bupa in confusion. Master Bupa. In particular, Califla asked hurriedly at the moment, what kind of legendary Super Saiyan is Kale? Is this any different from us? Certainly. With an indifferent smile, Bupa glanced at Saiyan around him, and then said, since that's the case, let's show you the power of the legendary Super Saiyan. Saying that, Bupa's mind immediately activated the transformation of the Super Transfer mode. With a low roar resounding, the grass-green energy around Bupa swept out. For a time, all the Saiyans around felt suppressed, not only the difference in combat power, but more from the suppression from the depths of the blood. Gudu, Green Warrior. It's actually a green transformation form. 35. Seeing this situation, Califla and the others all opened their mouths, their eyes filled with unbelievable colors. Especially King Saiyan, his face is even more dazed at the moment. Although the Saiyan family has records about the Golden Warrior, there is no record about this superhero. But even so, they can clearly feel how powerful this super mode is. Subconsciously, King Saiyan asked, King Bupa, what's different about this legendary Super Saiyan? Nature. Restraining his breath, Bupa swept his gaze across the crowd, and then said, the so-called legendary Super Saiyan is an existence that can only be born every 1,000 years in the Saiyan family. 99. And every legendary Super Saiyan's strength will be multiplied every year after birth. Even if he doesn't practice, he will continue to become stronger. Besides that, the transformation of the legendary Super Saiyan is a super transfer mode. The transformation of this super mode is only the first stage transformation, which is comparable to Super Saiyan 2, that is, it will get 100 times increase in combat power. In addition, the legendary Super Saiyan can also display a state of rage, in which the combat power will be increased tenfold. That is to say, once Chuanchao transforms, his basic combat power will increase by a factor of 1000, which is definitely not something that ordinary Saiyan's Super Saiyan mode can match. Angry state. Add Super mode. Increase the combat power by 1000 times. After listening to Bupa's remarks, Saiyan Wang and others couldn't help but gasped. 1001 hash. That is a 1000-fold increase in combat power. You know, the Super Saiyan transformation they completed is only a 50-fold increase. Compared with Chuanchao, it's not at the same level at all. No wonder Kael can't transform. Quartering is not because she can't transform. It's just that it is much more difficult for her to transform than herself and others. Thinking of this, King Saiyan and the others looked at Kael with kind eyes. Even hot. Super pass. In the 6th universe, a Chuanchao appeared. If this is given enough time, then Kael may even become the strongest in the universe in the future. Wow, you are amazing. Passing the Super Bloodline, you are actually the legendary Super Saiyan. At this time, Califla also sighed with relief, and quickly stepped forward and hugged Kael, her eyes full of excitement. I thought that my little sister would be disliked, even hostile, but I didn't expect that there will be a village. Kael not only was not hostile, but even became the most potential existence of the Saiyan family. Come on. At this moment, King Saiyan said quietly, you can send the order, and Kael becomes the eldest princess of my Saiyan family, whose status is second only to this king. Yes, yes, bowing should be. All around Saiyan agree with this order. Kael's potential is too great. Once the transformation is completed, it will have a 1000 times increase in combat power, which is a shocking thing for everyone. Thinking of this, the eyes of countless people are hot, and even the eyes that look at Kael are full of worship. This, on the contrary, Kael is a little helpless. Before, she was just a vagabond, and it was Califla's shelter that made her life a little better. Now that she suddenly became the eldest princess, the change was so great that she couldn't accept it for a while. All right. At this time, Bupa had no intention of staying any longer, and looked at Saiyan 180 Wang Dao. King Saiyan, I will take Gabe, Califla and Kale away next. 99. I will guide them to practice for a period of time in the suburban area, and try to let them complete a stronger transformation before I leave. Especially Kael, I hope to improve the super transfer mode as soon as possible. It is good. Hearing this, King Saiyan nodded quickly. He also understood the importance of this matter. It's more clear what Bupa means, which is that the latter won't be around for too long. After the transformation skills and abilities of Kael and others are taught, he will leave the 6th universe. Thinking of this, King Saiyan said immediately, Kael, you will be responsible for the supply of King Bupa's things in the future to ensure that they will not have problems in this regard. 5. Yes, my king. With a promise, Kael was also very excited at the moment. He not only completed the Super Saiyan transformation by himself, but more importantly, his sister Califla is about to get Bupa's guidance. Bupa didn't care too much about this, looked at the three of Califla and said, come with me. 99. After he finished speaking, he floated away and galloped away from the city. Seeing this situation, the three of Califla hurriedly followed, and Kael followed. After all, he would be in charge of logistics later, and he needed to know where Bupa and the others lived. Chapter 231 Inferior Super Saiyan Bloodline, Mysterious, Super Saiyan Passive. Time flies. In the blink of an eye Bupa has been on Saiyan planet for about 2 months. In the past 2 months, Califla and Gabe have completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 2. At the same time, the combat power of the two of them has also increased a lot at this moment. Under the strict guidance of Bupa, Califla has reached the full power of Super Saiyan 2, and almost completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 3. Ding. The loyalty of the bound character Son Gohan has reached 100. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the God's gene. On this day, the system prompt sounded quietly. What's the situation? How did Son Gohan's loyalty hit 100 all of a sudden? With a frown, Bupa finished his practice and stood up from the ground. A look of confusion and doubt flashed in his eyes. Ding. The bloodline of the detection-bound character Son Gohan has evolved into a second-class super race god to trigger 10 times the return ability. Congratulations to the host for possessing the inferior super race god bloodline. 35. The next second, Bupa only felt a shock all over his body. Immediately afterwards, a warm energy penetrated into the body. For a time, Bupa could clearly feel that his super bloodline began to change at this moment. As this power continued to grow, Bupa was surprised to find that the chi in his body was transformed into divine power. Not only that, but Bupa was stunned to find that his own power began to soar at this moment. 4000 rank 4 grooves. The basic combat power has soared by 100 times at this moment, and this power seems to belong to the super race god. But Bupa's appearance has not changed much, not even the red hair and red eyes in the form of Super Saigon. What's the situation? What the hell is going on with this power boost? Underestimated in his heart, Bupa checked his own information as soon as his mind moved. Add Bupa, race, Saiyan, bloodline, medium level super, inferior super race god. Divine power, 4 grooves. Transformation, anger state, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, Chuanchao mode, Chuanchao 2, Super Saiyan 3. Passive, mystery, Super Saiyan. Ability, Kaioken, time flash, free extreme omen, final flash. Passive apostrophe, mysterious Super Saiyan god. This is the transformation of a mysterious state into a Super Saiyan god. His pupils shrank, and Bupa's breathing suddenly quickened. I thought that the reward Chaosai god I got before had no value and meaning, but he never imagined that such a change would happen after Son Gohan refined the Super Saiyan blood. Possessing the bloodline of the inferior super race god is nothing, but the benefits brought by the blood of the inferior super race god are too great. In the original mysterious state, the basic combat power was increased by 100 times, but under the current situation, the passive version of his mysterious state has evolved into the mysterious Super Saiyan. And under the original 100 times increase, it suddenly reached the point of 10,000 times. 10,000 times the increase, with 10 times the return. That is to say, as long as Son Gohan and others increase their combat power by 1 trillion, they can increase their combat power by 10. The most important thing is, since both mysterious and Super Saiyan passives can be born, doesn't that mean that he still has the possibility to evolve them again? For example, Super Race God Pink. If you can really achieve such a level, doesn't it mean that you can achieve a stronger level? Add what to Super Race God Bloodline. Nice Son Gohan. After being surprised, Bupa couldn't help but sigh. Unexpectedly, Son Gohan gave himself such a big surprise this time. Moreover, the Super Saiyan can actually be combined with the mysterious state, which means that Son Gohan's power will also be enhanced again. The 10,000-fold increase in basic combat power, coupled with the power of Super Saiyan transformation, Son Gohan's limit had surpassed Broly in a sense. Even if it is a second-class Super Race God bloodline, but in a sense, it has already surpassed the Super Superior bloodline. For a time, Bupa was eager to return to the 7th universe to see how Son Gohan was doing. Once the latter situation is really as he thought it would be, it is definitely good news. Even in such a situation, he even wanted to give priority to cultivating Son Gohan. After all, the blessing of Chaosai God's bloodline is too strong. Even Chuanchao can't compare. Master Bupa. Just at this moment, a cry came. Looking at the sound, we can see that Gabe came in a hurry. Soon, Gabe arrived at the area where Bupa was, bowed and saluted. Master Bupa, come with me. Califla is going to do her Super Saiyan 3 transformation, and it's not very good at the moment, and she's injured. Califla was injured. Raising his brows, Bupa's eyes showed a hint of surprise. This is really something he didn't expect. Califla actually started trying Super Saiyan 3 so quickly. Most importantly, it's incredible that he could still be injured while he was transforming. Take me there. Almost instantly, Bupa stood up and said, "Add." Yes. With a promise, Gabe didn't hesitate, and quickly walked towards Califla with Bupa. Soon, Bupa followed Gabe to where Califla was. It can be seen that he is lying on the ground at the moment, vomiting blood continuously, and crying in the area next to him. What's the situation? Califla, what the hell is going on? Seeing this, Bupa frowned and asked subconsciously. This is definitely not what Super Saiyan 3 should look like, and even to put it in a bad way, Califla is more like being beaten. This, after hesitating for a while, Gabe said, "Lord Bupa, this is the way it is." 35. Califla, who got the money, almost finished her Super Saiyan 3 transformation, but she found she couldn't perfect herself, so she let me and Kale attack him. 99. Originally, everything was fine, but Kale suddenly transformed, and a terrible force directly knocked down Califla. 99. I see. After listening to Gabe's story, Bupa suddenly realized no wonder Califla was so seriously injured. It turned out to be seriously injured by Kale's super transfer mode. Thinking of this, Bupa immediately said, "You guys are really messing around." Saying that, Bupa walked to where Califla was. Looking at her injury, Bupa immediately took out a fairy bean and fed it to Califla. However, at this moment, Califla couldn't eat fairy beans, and she couldn't even chew. The whole person lay dying on the ground, and even still had the fear of life, and the vitality was constantly passing. Chapter 232 Rescue Kalifla, The Wild Conquers Kael. Add. Has it hurt so much? Raising his brows, Bupa frowned and immediately picked up Califla. Immediately afterwards, Bupa didn't hesitate, and directly put the fairy bean into his mouth. Click. Biting through the fairy bean, Bupa put it directly into Califla's mouth. Seeing this situation, Kael and Gabe were dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, Bupa's treatment method is actually like this. Such behavior really has some impact on the two of them, especially Kale. When she saw Bupa and Califla mouth to mouth, she didn't even bother to cry, and her eyes turned red. Elder sister, what are you doing to your sister? 9. Burning in anger, Kael roared directly into the anger state and super transmission mode. In an instant, Kael's combat power has increased from 30 trillion to 3 Beijing, and this power is still rising rapidly. Every second will increase the combat power of about 10 jing, and Kael is completely in a rampage, attacking Bupa without hesitation. Seeing this situation, Gabe on the side was shocked. Kale had been transformed into this way and severely injured Califla before. If this attack happened on Bupa's body and there was an accident, then, have you transformed? In this scene, Bupa has a panoramic view, and it is clear why Kale is like 180. This little girl has the emotions of a sister, and she can't stand Califla's treatment like her. But Bupa didn't care so much, raised his hand and grabbed the attacking Kale and imprisoned him in place. Immediately afterwards, Bupa sent the bin into Califla's throat. Grumbling. When Xiandu was eating, Califla's body was silently startled. As the power of the fairy bins began to emerge, Califla's injuries began to recover rapidly. 35. Opening her eyes, Califla immediately saw the mouth-to-mouth Bupa and the softness. Subconsciously, Califla began to communicate with Bupa. In this regard, Bupa did not refuse. After all, from the beginning he had ideas for both Califla and Kale. Now that the latter has taken the initiative, Bupa will not refuse. And this scene directly made Califla indulge in it. In just a few short breaths, Califla's breathing was rapid, her face flushed red, and her gaze towards Bupa also became somewhat obsessive and tender. Roar. At this moment, Kale's low roar resounded quietly. It can be seen that there, chi around his body is violent, and in a short period of time, it has reached about 100 gao, and this strength is still growing rapidly, and her whole body has become stronger again. At the same time, Califla also woke up at this moment. After seeing Kael's situation, Califla didn't care to indulge in it. She quickly retracted her head and said, "Gale, what's the matter with you?" 99. Kael, you. However, her call made no sense. At this moment, Kael has completely started to run wild, and even under the action of this force, the potential of the whole person is not only being discovered. All right. Seeing this, Bupa stood up slowly, looked at Califla and said, "Califla, you and Gabe leave this place first. Then leave it to me." 35. Kale has completely completed the transformation of the super transfer mode, and now the potential in her body has begun to be unearthed. But this is not enough. I need to guide all the potential in her body. Yes. Hearing this, Califla nodded. Although she is worried about Kael, she also understands that she can't do anything now. Even though he had completed Super Saiyan 3 before, he was still no match for Kael, and even nearly died in his hands. Thinking of this, Califla immediately turned around and followed Gabe away. Seeing this, Bupa didn't hesitate. He let go of Kale's arm and said, "Come on. 9. Defeat me with all your might." Roar. Hearing this, Kai roared. Immediately afterwards, her already strong power surged again at this moment, and attacked Bupa rapidly. In this regard, Bupa did not hesitate, and immediately began to play against Kale. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. For a time, the roar of the entire area continued to resound. As Kale's power continued to soar, the aftermath of the battle became even more enormous. Even Califla and Gabe in the distance couldn't bear it and had to choose to retreat. Under such circumstances, Kale's strength soared rapidly, reaching about 2s in just a few dozen breaths. After reaching such a point, Kale's power can no longer continue to improve. No matter how much he growled and how much he squeezed her potential, she couldn't continue to get stronger. Almost, the limit has been reached. Seeing this situation, Bupa's eyes flashed, and he didn't understand that Kale's ultimate potential had been tapped. With her current situation, if she wants to become stronger again, she can only continue to work hard to cultivate her own strength. In addition, Kael can also carry out the transformation of Chuanchao too, but this is not something that can be done overnight. It's time to bring her back to her senses. He underestimated a sentence in his heart, and Bupa stepped out immediately. Immediately afterwards, Bupa's figure grew to a height of more than 3 meters in just a few breaths. After the stature was almost the same as Kale, Bupa stepped forward and completely controlled Kale. "Kale, wake up." With a low drink in his mouth, Bupa began to inject his own power into his body to try to wake him up. After all, only if Kael wakes up in this situation, he can stably master the power of the anger state and the super transmission mode. On the contrary, if she can't wake up now, then this power can't be grasped, and even in a short period of time, she can't continue to transform. However, Kael was still roaring constantly at the moment. She was struggling frantically and didn't want to be controlled. Unfortunately, the power gap between the two sides is too great. No matter how she struggles, she can't help Bupa. On the contrary, as she continued to struggle, Bupa also felt something strange and ready to move. As time passed, Bupa couldn't bear it anymore, looked at Kael who was still not awake. His eyes flashed fiercely. Since this is the case, then there is only one last move. It will completely conquer you instinctively, and let you wake up completely from this state. After making up his mind, Bupa no longer hesitated, grabbed the Kale instant transmission and went to an uninhabited planet, and then began the most primitive conquest. Chapter 233 Development of Kael, The Rise of Chuanchao. In the nameless planet, Kale gradually regained his senses. Looking at Bupa in front of him and the situation of the two, he couldn't help screaming. are you awake? Seeing this, Buppa stopped, glanced at Kael and said, sorry, you completely lost your mind before, Master Buppa. Hearing this, Kael's face turned red, although he was extremely shy and even a little angry. But it is undeniable that under the current situation, she did not resist too much. Instead, she squirmed and said, thank you, Lord Buppa, me. Speaking of which, Kael didn't know what to say for a while. But her body's instinct is still going on, which makes her keep squirming, and her eyes towards Buppa are more and more obsessed. Interesting. Seeing this, Buppa smiled. Eat marrow to know the taste. It's a little weird, but it's the case with Kale's eyes. Thinking of this, Buppa didn't stop. The corners of his mouth rose and said, so, let's continue. Hearing this, Kael nodded shyly. At the same time, it is also starting to cooperate more actively. Seeing this, Buppa also smiled slightly, and immediately began to continue fighting with him. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. With a low growl from Buppa, this protracted battle was completely over. At this point, Kael screamed, and it could be seen that his body began to tremble gradually. In a moment, the originally huge body in a state of anger disappeared, but the result was a thin appearance. It hurts. For a time, Kale's voice kept resounding. Buppa also understood what was going on for the first time, and now he is still in a state of anger, which is indeed not something the latter can bear. Immediately, Buppa immediately dissipated his anger. It was at this moment that Kael's face improved, and he looked at Buppa with tender eyes and said, King Buppa, needless to say. 99. In response, Buppa smiled indifferently, stretched out his hand to take it into his arms, and said, since such a thing has already happened, you will be my woman from now on. But I'm not from your universe, so I'll leave when the time comes. Will you come with me or stay? Hearing this, Kael hesitated for a while. She also thought about leaving with Buppa, but she was also reluctant to Califla and the others. For a time, Kael's expression changed a little, and he didn't know how to choose. Master Buppa. After a long while, Kael said, then will you come back to see me after you leave? Certainly. With an indifferent smile, Buppa reached out and scratched the bridge of Kael's nose, and then said, you are my woman, and of course I will not forget your existence. I'm not strong enough right now, but when I continue to get stronger for a while, no one can stop me from doing anything. This is not a Buppa joke. Now his combat power has reached the 11th level. As long as he continues to improve, and when he reaches the level of the Grand Priest, he can walk back and forth between the main universe and the GT universe without any obstacles. Well, hearing this, Kai nodded and said, then I will wait for you in the 6th universe. Yes. 99. Hearing this, Buppa nodded. Although Kael had become his woman, he did not take the other party overbearingly. Since the latter is willing to stay, then he will not stop anything. And the 6th universe is not only Kael, but also the existence of Califla and Vados, and he will not give up on these. Thinking of this, Buppa took the clothes on the side to Kael and said, Kale, put it on, we should go back too. I've been here for 3 days, and I believe Califla and the others have been waiting for a long time. Okay, Lord Buppa. Nodding, Kai shyly took the clothes and put them on. After the two briefly cuddled for a while, Buppa brought Kale back to Saiyan planet with instant transmission. Zizzy. The space shook, and Buppa brought Kale to the place where he practiced before. Master Buppa. Kale. Almost as soon as they appeared, 2 voices followed. Looking at the sound, it can be seen that Califla and Gabe are hurriedly coming from not far away. After arriving beside Buppa and Kale, Califla suddenly asked expectantly, Lord Buppa, how is Kale's situation? 0 flowers 0. Have you mastered the power of Chuanchao? As soon as these words came out, Gabe also looked at Buppa curiously. It has been mastered. Nodding his head, Buppa glanced at Califla, then looked at Kael and said, Kale, try it. The cultivation during this period should have made you completely accustomed to Chuanchao's power. Yes, Lord Buppa. Nodding, Kael is also looking forward to it at the moment. Immediately afterwards, Kael stepped forward, clenched his fists and shouted, Ha! In the next second, Kael's body was full of anger, and his entire body instantly grew to a height of more than 3 meters. The state of anger erupted, and the chi in Kael's body was violent, and a full 20's combat power swept out at this moment. 0. Thump, thump. In an instant, Califla and Gabe were knocked out. When it fell to the ground, Califla looked at Kael in surprise and said, It's so strong. What a horrible breath. 35. Kale, you have become so much stronger all at once. 35. Not only her, but Gabe's face was full of astonishment at the moment, and he said in disbelief, such power is simply too terrifying. Is this the power of Chuanchao? Is this the power of the legendary Super Saiyan? 99. Not bad. 99. Good. Likewise, Buppa nodded in satisfaction at the moment. From the original 30 trillion basic combat power to the point of 2 Kael's potential development this time can be described as a success. Originally, Kale's basic combat power was at most around 3000 Gai, but with the impact brought by Buppa's battle with him, the super bloodline potential in her body was further developed. It can be said that the integration of Chuanchao and Chuanchao is the strongest, and even Buppa himself has improved a lot. Ha! At this time, Kael's low roar resounded again. Grass green air spewed out, and it could be seen that his figure grew taller at this moment. At the same time, Kael's chi also increased from 20 to 2 rang. Under such circumstances, Kael's whole person stood in a field area like a god of war. Just the emitting aura made it hard for Califla and Gabe not far away to breathe. Chapter 234 Explaining Chuanchao. The first Chuanchao 3 transformation. Gudu. So strong. Swallowing their saliva, Califla and Gabe looked at Kael enviously at the moment. The aura emanating from Kael is really too powerful. It is simply incomparable. Although Kael 3 days ago was also powerful, it was only the power of anger state and super transmission mode. Although stronger than Califla and the others, they are not untouchable. But in just 3 days, Kael's power has already undergone earth-shaking changes. From the original mega-level combat power to the rang level, even in the main universe, it is considered to be an 8th order powerhouse. Okay, Kael, put away your coercion. At this time, Buppa said quietly, now you have completely mastered the Chuanchao mode. However, this is just the beginning, and there is still the possibility of 180 going further in the Chuanchao mode. For example, in the form of Chuanchao 2 and Chuanchao 3, the increase will be more powerful at that time, so you have to cultivate the basic combat power well to ensure that you can maintain your sanity when you complete the further transformation. Yes. Nodding his head, Kael's mind dissipated the super transmission mode and anger state. After doing all this, Kael looked at Buppa curiously and said, Lord Buppa, does the transformation of Chuanchao 2 and Chuanchao 3 vibrate? Can Chuanchao mode continue to improve at a glance with my sister? As soon as these words came out, Califla and Gabe also came in a hurry. After arriving at Buppa's place, Califla also said expectantly, Lord Buppa, what is the transformation of Chuanchao 2 and Chuanchao 3? Lord Buppa, can we also see and see? Hearing this, Buppa glanced at Califla and Kale, and then did not refuse. Yes, just so I'll explain it to you. Saying that, Buppa immediately transformed into super transmission mode as soon as his mind moved. After doing all this, Buppa said, this is the super transfer mode, which is the transformation form that Kael has now mastered. Next, I will transform into Chuanchao 2. Saying that, Buppa let out a low roar, and golden lightnings appeared all over his body, surrounding the grass-green air that supported Buppa like a god's mansion. Lightning. It's similar to Super Saiyan 2's transformation. Seeing this situation, Califla and Gabe spoke subconsciously. Although the atmosphere of Buppa's Super 2 mode is somewhat different, the transformation situation is also very similar to Super Saiyan 2. Good. Nodding his head, Buppa said, the situation in Chuanchao 2 and Super Saiyan 2 is similar. However, the increase in the Super Saiyan 2 mode is not comparable to that of Super Saiyan 2. After completing the transformation of Chuanchao 2, it can be enhanced by 1000 times, which is 10 times the increase of the 100 times combat power of Chuanchao mode. What? 1000 times the combat power increase. 39. After listening to Buppa's story, the three of Califla couldn't help exclaiming, especially Califla and Gabe. At this moment, it is even more unbelievable. Chuanchao 2 enhances the basic combat power by 1000 times. Kale's rage state can also increase his combat power tenfold. Doesn't that mean that launching the Chuanchao 2 mode in a state of anger can fully enhance the combat power by 10,000 times? The current Kale has only increased his combat power by 1000 times in the anger state and the super transfer mode. If this transformation of Chuanchao 2 is completed, it can increase the combat power by 9 times at the moment, which is simply incredible. For a time, Califla and Gabe looked at Kael with envious eyes. Transmit super blood. This is the power of Chuanchao bloodline. Even before Buppa once said that the super bloodline is an almost invincible existence. But when they really saw this scene, they couldn't help but feel envious. Lord Buppa, what about Chuanchao 3, 35? At this time, Kael was the first to come back to his senses and asked curiously. As soon as these words came out, Califla and Gabe didn't care about their inner envy, and looked at Buppa curiously. Chuanchao 2 is already so powerful. How terrible should the transformation increase of Chuanchao 3 be? Hearing this, Buppa smiled slightly, looked at Kael and the others and said, then I will transform into Chuanchao 3, 35. Saying that, Buppa took a deep breath, a look of anticipation flashed in his eyes, and without hesitation, he activated Chuanchao 3 to transform. Ha! The low roar resounded, and the chi around Buppa became violent at this moment. Immediately afterwards, the grass-green chi around Buppa became violent, and it could be clearly seen that his hair was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few breaths, Buppa has completed the transformation of Chuanchao 3. At this moment, Buppa's own combat power soared rapidly. 4 streams, 16 streams. After reaching 16 streams, Buppa's anger calmed down. In an instant, Buppa's tightly closed eyes opened, and he murmured, a 40,000-fold increase. It was really unexpected. At this moment, Buppa was a little surprised. You know, Chuanchao 2's increase is only 1000 times. I thought that Chuanchao 3 would increase by about 10,000 times at most, but I didn't expect it to reach 40,000 times. Moreover, This is still the stage of entering Super 3 if the full power of Super 3 can be completed. The increase should be 80,000 times. Coupled with the blessing of the anger state, the transformation of Chuanchao 3 is comparable to that of Jiao 4 in a sense. The most important thing is that once the transformation of Chuanchao 4 is completed, it will be a more terrifying upgrade. So handsome. 35. Is this Chuanchao 3 more handsome than Super Saiyan 3? 55. Califla exclaimed, her eyes looking at Bupa full of starlight and yearning. After this period of recovery, she has initially completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 3, but she can also clearly feel that the transformations of Super Saiyan 3 and Chuanchao 3 are completely incomparable. Lord Bupa, how many times does this Chuanchao 3 increase its combat power by 0.7? Gabe asked curiously. 40,000 times. After returning to his senses, Bupa glanced at the three of Kael who were staring at him in the arena, and immediately said, Chuanchao 3 can increase the combat power by 40,000 times. At the same time, if there is the blessing of the angry state, the increase of Chuanchao 3 can reach 400,000 times. Hiss. 400,000 times increase. Hearing this, Califla and Gabe were completely dumbfounded. They opened their mouths several times to say something, but they couldn't say it anymore. Without him, the intensity of this boost is really terrifying, making them unbelievable, even unimaginable. Gudu. After swallowing, Kael's breathing was also rapid at the moment. He stepped forward subconsciously and held Bupa's arm and said, Lord Bupa, teach me quickly. Chapter 235 Kale's initiative, subduing Califla. I thought I was strong enough. But after seeing Bupa's transformation and breath, Kael also understands his own weakness. Therefore, she desperately wants to become stronger at this moment. After all, only in this way can she be worthy of Bupa. As a pure Saiyan, even a woman has a strong sense of strengthening in her heart. Plus Kael knows that Bupa will be leaving the 6th universe soon, so there's a rush to learn more at the moment. It is good. Hearing this, the corners of Bupa's mouth rose slightly, looking at Kael and said, I will teach you how to transform. But before that, you must also improve your basic combat power. Yes. Nodding, Kael nodded momentarily. And this scene also made Califla a little weird. She remembered that Kael wouldn't be close to other people, but now she was so close to Bupa. And it seems that the relationship between the two sides is still a little too intimate, which makes Califla doubtless. During these 23 days, where did Bupa and Kale go? What did they do? Why are Kale and Bupa so close? All right. At this moment, Bupa clapped his hands, and then said, Califla, Gabe, you should also start practicing. 35. After half a month, I will teach you the last transformation, and then I will leave the 6th universe. Whether you can master it depends on your own. What? Leaving in a month and a half? Hearing this, Califla and Gabe were shocked, never expecting Bupa to choose to leave so soon. Equally surprised was Kale. It took half a month. To be honest, it was not long, which made her feel a little urgency in her heart. Immediately afterwards, Califla, Kale and Gabe began to practice. Bupa, on the other hand, walked in the direction of the residence. For half a month, he also had to think carefully about how to deal with the problem. In the current situation of the three of Califla, in addition to Kale's sufficient strength, Califla and Gabe are still too far behind. In addition, the people of the 6th universe have no tail, which means that they cannot transform into a Super 4. Therefore, the only way is to teach them the Super Ace God transformation. With the number of the 6th universe Saiyan, it should not be a problem to perfect the Super Saiyan transformation. But it is precisely because of this that once a large-scale Super Ace God is born, the situation of the 6th universe will be changed by him, and then, do not care, all will be good. Hopefully nothing unexpected happens by then. With a murmur in his heart, Bupa took a deep breath and returned to the accommodation to start practicing. In this case, time flies by quickly. In the middle of the night, while Bupa was continuing to practice, there was a sudden sound of footsteps. Da. Looking up, I can see that Kale's petite figure has entered Bupa's residence. Kale, you came. Seeing this situation, Bupa immediately asked, what's the matter, Master Bupa? Hearing this, Kael's pretty face turned slightly red, and his voice was a little shy for a while. But soon, Kale seemed to make up his mind. Immediately afterwards, Kale took a step and came to the area beside Bupa, lowered his head and said, Lord Bupa, I miss you. Miss me? The corners of his mouth rose, and Bupa suddenly understood what Kale was referring to. Eat marrow to know the taste. There is no doubt about that. It is also possible that it was because he said that he was going to leave in half a month, which made Kael even more reluctant. But no matter what, Bupa didn't want to pretend that he couldn't see it. He stretched out his hand and took Kael into his arms and said, if so, then I will continue to help you cultivate. 5. Hearing this, Kael nodded with a blushing face, but he didn't mean to refuse. After a while, the sound of battle resounded in the room. As time passed, the sound of the battle grew louder, and Bupa and Kael became more involved. However, at this moment, a figure quietly appeared in the area outside the house. After seeing the situation in the house clearly, Califla's delicate body was shocked, and she subconsciously lost her voice. Master Bupa. They are actually. For a time, Cauliflower was shocked. When she saw Kael sneak away before, she felt something was wrong but didn't think much about it. But Kael didn't go back for more than an hour, and Caulifla came out to look for it suspiciously. Unexpectedly, I actually let myself see this scene, and it seems that Kael is still taking the initiative. This scene simply shocked Califla. When would my shy and somewhat inferior sister be so bold? After a while, Caulifla came back to her senses and slammed the door and entered. It's too much. Cool, you're eating alone. Elder sister. Califla. Seeing the sudden appearance of Califla, Bupa and Kyle in the room were both startled. Neither of them expected Califla to appear here, and they pushed the door in. Kael, in particular, was hiding in Bupa's arms like a kitten at the moment. Master Bupa. I also want. At this moment, Califla was very direct, and came directly to the area next to Bupa, eager to try. You sure? Raising his brows, Bupa's eyes showed a trace of weirdness, and he glanced at Califla and said, do you know what this means? 35. Of course I know. In this regard, Califla disagreed, and said with a face of LSP, this is the birth of a baby. It's not that I haven't seen it. But Lord Bupa can't just be with Kale alone, I want to be with me too. Good guy. Really straightforward existence. The corners of his mouth twitched, and Bupa glanced at Carafura, who didn't seem to be fake, and the corners of his mouth rose. If that's the case, then I'll teach you. Saying that, Bupa no longer hesitated, stretched out his hand and pulled Califla into his arms. Moments later, the battle between Bupa and Califla begins. At this scene, Kael, who was watching from the side, was also eager to move. After a short period of shyness, Kale stepped forward and joined the battle without caring about the others. Kael, it's your turn. I'm exhausted. Good sister. Sister, I can't do it anymore. Come on. 6699. As Caulifla discovered the relationship between Bupa and Kale, and even took the initiative to join, they did not continue to exercise strength for the next time. The two girls knew that Bupa was leaving soon, so they had to stay with Bupa for the limited time. In this way, the three of them almost never came out of the residence, and half a month passed quickly. Chapter 236. Transforming into a Super Sailor, the worship of Kale and others. Master Bupa. This morning, Gabe hurriedly came to the cave. After arriving outside Bupa's residence, Gabe said, Master Bupa, according to your instructions, Captain Kale has come with 3 companions. Come yet. With a flash of light in his eyes, Bupa stood up immediately, looked at Kale and Caulifla beside him, and said, let's go. It's time to give you the final lesson. Yes. Hearing this, Kael and Califla nodded. Although extremely reluctant, they also understand that what Bupa decides cannot be changed. The main thing is that this half-month of madness is enough. They are also very clear that their own strength improvement is the most important thing. Immediately, the 3 of them finished dressing and walked out of the room. Califla. Outside the door, Gabe looked at Califla and Kelton, who came out with Bupa, and showed a hint of consternation. Immediately afterwards, he seemed to have thought of something, and immediately lowered his head and dared not speak nonsense. Gabe. Seeing this, Bupa nodded with satisfaction, and then said, have you completed Super Saiyan 3? 35 and half a month's time. Report to King Bupa, I have finished. Hearing this, Gabe didn't dare to neglect, and quickly answered, although I'm still a little unstable, I also completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 3 yesterday. Very good. Hearing this, Bupa nodded in satisfaction, then said, let's go. Take me to see Kale and the others. With the addition of the 3 of them, you and Califla can also transform into a higher level. Yes. Hearing this, Gabe was instantly overjoyed. Immediately afterwards, Gabe no longer hesitated, and hurried towards the outside world with the 3 of Bupa. Soon, Bupa and the others joined Kale. Meet King Bupa. Meet King Bupa apostrophe. Seeing Bupa appear, the 3 Kale, who had been waiting for so long, did not dare to neglect, and hurriedly bowed and saluted. Get up. With a wave of his hand, Bupa's eyes swept across the 3 of Kale and said, how is your cultivation? Complete Super Saiyan 2? Hearing this, the 2 people behind Kale immediately revealed embarrassment. They were all the first to transform into Super Saiyan, but they did not complete Super Saiyan 2 in more than 2 months. King Bupa, I'm done. At this time, Kale nodded and said excitedly, I have completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 2 not long ago, and my strength has improved a lot. 5. Nodding his head, Bupa glanced at Kale and said, as expected of Califla's brother, his talent is indeed good. If that's the case, then now I'll teach you the transformation beyond Super Saiyan 3, which I call Super Saiyan God. Transformation beyond Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan God. Hearing this, everyone present was shocked, and then they all looked at Bupa in amazement, and their eyes were full of incredible colors. Especially Caulifla and Gabe. They just completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 3 not long ago, and now they still have the transformation form of Super Saiyan God. Master Bupa. Subconsciously, Califla then asked, what is the transformation of this Super Saiyan God? How strong is Super Saiyan God's transformation? As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes also focused on Bupa. In this regard, Bupa did not hide anything, and immediately activated the Super Saiyan transformation as soon as his mind moved. In the next second, the crimson brilliance shone brightly, and Buppa immediately transformed into the form of Super Saiyan God. Although the Super Race God form has been fused with a mysterious state, he can still display it alone. But in such a situation, Buppa's power has not increased much. Originally, the Super Saiyan should have increased his combat power by 600,000 times. But now it has only increased by 6,000 times. The other 100 times is already combined with the mysterious Super Saiyan and cannot be mobilized. However, Buppa didn't care about it either. If it wasn't for Califla and others to see the form of Super Saiyan God clearly, he wouldn't use this transformation at all. Wow, red hair, 35, red eyes, the whole body turned red. Is this Super Saiyan God? Why can't I feel the presence of Mr. Buppa's breath? 66.99. At the same time, Califla and the others were subconsciously exclaiming at this moment, and the eyes of Buppa, who were looking at them one by one, were full of incomprehension. At the same time, the eyes of Califla and others also became hot, and they were extremely yearning for the transformation of Super Saiyan God. Although I don't know why there is no breath after Super Saiyan God's transformation is completed, but they can also clearly feel that the transformation of this form is very strong, far beyond their cognition. This is the incarnation of Super Saiyan God. 35. With a light cough, Buppa looked at Califla and the others and said, after completing this transformation, the chi in the body will be transformed into divine power. 99. This divine power is a power that only gods can cultivate and master, and it is an existence incomparable to ordinary chi. Besides that, the power of Super Saiyan God's transformation is also extremely terrifying, reaching a level of 600,000 times. 5. In other words, as long as you complete the transformation of Super Saiyan God, your combat power will increase by 600,000 times. What? 600,000 times the combat power increase? The power that can only be mastered by the gods. Is this really transformed into a god? After listening to Buppa's story, Califla and the others opened their mouths in disbelief, especially Kael et al. At this moment, the eyes they looked at Buppa were extremely hot. Good money. Super Saiyan God. If you can complete this transformation, you can become a god, even if it is not a real god, but it is also the god of Saiyan. In this way, they have more ability and grasp to protect the Saiyan family and even protect the peace of universe. Gudu. After swallowing, Kael subconsciously asked, Master Buppa, can he complete the transformation of this Super Saiyan God? As soon as these words came out, Califla and the others also all looked at Buppa's location. Of course it can. With a light smile, Buppa shrugged and said, if it can't be done, I won't let you come here today. But if you want to transform into Super Saiyan God, it is best to be the first to complete the transformation of Super Saiyan 3. So, in such a situation, Califla and Gabe are the best choices. Chapter 237 Super Race God Gabe. Super Race God Califla. Can I transform after completing Super Saiyan 3? This is really difficult. After listening to Buppa's story, Kael and the others frowned, and a hint of disappointment flashed in their eyes. After all, except for Kael who has reached Super Saiyan 2, the other two have not even completed the state of Super Saiyan full power. Really? I can also become Super Saiyan God. On the other hand, Califla and Gabe were very excited at the moment, staring straight at Buppa, their eyes full of anticipation and eagerness to move. Sure. With an indifferent smile, Buppa glanced at Califla and Gabe, and then said, which of you two will come first? The transformation of the Super Saiyan God is not difficult, it only requires 5 Saiyans with peaceful hearts to inject the power of their hearts into their bodies. 35. I don't belong to the 6th universe, so my heart power is useless, but your number is enough. I see. After listening to Buppa's narration, the three of Kael suddenly became enlightened. No wonder Buppa made them come here. 183. It turned out to be because they needed their help to transform into Super Saiyan God. Thinking of this, the eyes of several people also became excited. Although he did not complete the transformation himself, he could also take this opportunity to find out what was going on. When their power is reached, they can completely transform themselves into Super Saiyan God. I'll come first. At this time, Gabe pondered for a while and then said, I'll test it first to make sure it can be done directly. It is good. As soon as these words came out, Buppa didn't speak, but Kael on the side gave Gabe an admiring look. After all, Califla was his sister, and he really wanted Califla to try it first. If something goes wrong, the damage to Califla will be permanent. No problem. Glancing at Gabe, Buppa's eyes flashed with admiration at the moment, and then he said, okay, the 5 of you will surround Gabe, and then inject the power of your heart into him. 5. Yes. With a promise, everyone present nodded. Immediately afterwards, Califla and the others quickly stepped forward and surrounded Gabe. Immediately afterwards, they did not hesitate, and quickly began to inject the power of their own hearts into Gabe's body. Buzz tilde. For a while, the buzzing sound resounded. With the continuous injection of the power of the heart, the aura around Gabe also began to increase rapidly. At this moment, the potential of the 5 claw began to pour into his body, and Gabe's basic combat power began to soar rapidly, 500 trillion, 5,000 trillion, 5 Beijing. After fully reaching the basic combat power of 5 capitals, Gabe's strength enhancement just came to an abrupt end. It was at this moment that a crimson light beam shot up into the sky. With the special fluctuation swept out, you can clearly see that Gabe's whole person began to turn red. Success. Finished. This is Super Saiyan God. Seeing this, Califla and the others exclaimed, looking at the scene in front of them with fiery eyes. Gabe completes the Super Saiyan God transformation. This is definitely exciting for them. After all, Gabe has completed, which means that they can also succeed in this Super Saiyan God. The most important thing is that they can clearly feel that before completing the transformation of the Super Ace God, Gabe's basic combat power has been greatly improved. Thinking of this, Califla's eyes were hot, and if it wasn't for Gabe's transformation, she would have been impatient. After a while, Gabe let out a loud shout. In the next second, the chi in Gabe's body became violent at this moment. With a special breath swept out, it can be clearly seen that his whole person has completely stabilized the transformation of Super Saiyan God. In an instant, Gabe's chi disappeared, but his power also soared rapidly to the point of 3,000 Gai. Success. Opening his eyes, Gabe felt the surging power in his body, and the whole person's breathing was extremely intense at this moment. He can clearly understand how strong his current situation is, and even more clearly how terrifying the power after completing the transformation of the Super Saiyan God. For a time, Gabe was very excited, walked to the area in front of Bupa, bowed and saluted. Thank you, Lord Bupa, for your guidance. Hearing this, Bupa waved his hand indifferently to signal Gabe to get up. Immediately afterwards, Bupa said, Super Saiyan. In fact, there is a higher level of transformation. However, the transformation of this form requires mastering the power of God, and it can only be completed after you can actively enter the Super Ace God form. In addition to this, you can also learn the power of Gods of Destruction, but that is the power of Gods of Destruction, and if you want to learn, you need to become a candidate for Gods of Destruction. Gudu. After hearing this, Califla and the others couldn't help swallowing. There is also a transformation that is stronger than Chaosai God, and also need to learn Gods of Destruction power. It's not something they can accomplish, or even something they can touch at all. For a time, a hint of disappointment appeared in everyone's eyes, but they soon calmed down. Although it is difficult to go further, the transformation of Chaosai God is enough for them. Thinking of this, Califla immediately said, Gabe, it's my turn. Quickly inject the power of your heart into my body, and I will also try the power of Super Saiyan God's transformation. Good. 95. Hearing this, Gabe and the others came back to their senses as if they had just woken up from a dream. After looking at each other, they no longer hesitated, and quickly came to the area beside Califla, and immediately began to inject the power of heart into his body. With the infusion of the power of the heart, the crimson air also envelops Califla. Under such circumstances, Califla's breath is also rapidly soaring. 800 trillion, 8,000 trillion, -8 Beijing. After reaching the level of 8 capitals, Califla's basic combat power just stopped improving. At this moment, the crimson light beam rose into the sky again, and with the emergence of the vision of heaven and earth, Califla also completed the transformation of Super Saiyan God under the gaze of everyone. In an instant, the aura around Califla's body dissipated, but her combat power also reached 4,200 Gai, 3 points stronger than Gabe. Chapter 238. The Last Guidance. Leaving the 6th universe. Finished. Califla has transformed into Super Saiyan God. 6,699. Seeing this situation, Kael and others present were extremely excited. Gabe succeeded. Califla also succeeded. This also means that there is almost no bottleneck in transforming into a Super Ace God. In this way, they only need to complete the Super Transformation as soon as possible, and after reaching Super Saiyan 3, they can perform the Super Saiyan God transformation. Thinking of this, Kael and the others were all short of breath, and their eyes were full of heat and anticipation. I succeeded. Lord Bupa, I'm done. 35. At this time, Califla woke up. Feeling the power fluctuations in her body, Califla was overjoyed, and immediately jumped up and threw herself in Bupa's arms. This scene suddenly made Kael not far away dumbfounded. Califla is her own sister. Now, in front of his own face, he threw himself into another man's arms. Although this person is Bupa, it was King Saiyan of another universe, but this still made him quite uncomfortable. Kael, congratulations. Yes, Kael, you are about to send it. On the contrary, the two teammates next to Kael were stunned for a moment, and then congratulated them with smiles on their faces. Bupa is King Saiyan after all. Even if she is the king of the rest of the universe, if Califla becomes his woman, her status will also be elevated. The most important thing is that Bupa is so powerful that if Califla follows him, there is absolutely no danger that there will be any danger. With a complicated smile on his face, Kael really didn't know how to answer for a while, but as of now, he couldn't stop anything. Taking a deep breath, Kael quickly adjusted his emotions and muttered, "Alright, at least Califla will not be in any danger in the future. With his protection, Califla can also be safer." Thinking of this, Carlton felt a lot better. Immediately afterwards, his eyes focused on Kael, who was not far away. He vaguely sensed that the latter also seemed to have some special emotion for Bupa. It's just that he didn't care about it before, but now Califla and Bupa are in such a relationship, that... Alright. 9. At this time, Bupa reached out and patted Califla, and then said, "You just completed the transformation of Super Saiyan God and you still need to understand it for a while. The current transformation still needs the help of others to complete. Both you and Gabe must practice as soon as possible. Take advantage of the fact that you are still in the form of Super Saiyan God, and fully grasp it as soon as possible. When you can truly independently complete the transformation of Super Saiyan God, this power will truly belong to you." Hearing this, both Califla and Gabe were shocked. Indeed, as Bupa said, the Super Saiyan God who has been transformed by chance is not his true power. Therefore, under such circumstances, they must improve their own strength as soon as possible, and fully grasp it as soon as possible. "I see." Nodding her head, Califla got down from Bupa's arms, and immediately said, "Then are you leaving?" "Yes." Nodding his head, Bupa reached out and rubbed Califla's head, then said, "After staying in the 6th universe for so long, I really should leave. If you don't leave, the gods of destruction within your universe will return. Although my current strength is not inferior to gods of destruction, the angel beside him is not something I can currently deal with. So, you still need to wait for a while, until my power surpasses angel, then I can come to 6th universe to reunite with you at will." Hearing this, Califla bit her lip, her expression obviously a little reluctant at this moment. But Califla is not a mess, and she knows that Bupa's decision cannot be changed. Thinking of this, Califla immediately said, "If so, then you can go first. Me and Kale will wait for you to come back and marry us." As soon as these words came out, Kale also nodded, stepped forward and came to Bupa and said, "Lord Bupa, we will wait for you." Hearing this, Bupa smiled and nodded. Immediately afterwards, he didn't hesitate, and immediately said, "Wait for me, at most 10 years, at least a few years, then I will definitely come back to marry you." 0 flowers. After speaking, Bupa no longer hesitated, and after kissing Califla and he immediately activated instant transmission and disappeared from the spot. Gone. This is leaving. Seeing this situation, not far away Kael, Gabe and others were all stunned. Unexpectedly, Bupa walked so dashingly, and it seems that Califla and Kale have also been taken by him, and he even promised to come back to get them, which is really Califla. At this time, Kael hurriedly stepped forward, and after arriving at Califla's place, he said, "What is the relationship between you and Clan Lord Bupa?" "Brother, can't you see it?" Glancing at Kael, Califla said indifferently, "Okay, brother, I'm going to practice now." "Brother, go back to practice. And when you finish Super Saiyan 3, come to us to help you complete the transformation of Super Saiyan God." After speaking, Califla no longer hesitated, and hurriedly left with Kael. "Califla, you." Seeing this, Kael panicked. As a brother, he didn't know anything yet, and this little sister was taken down, which made him a little unacceptable for a while. On top of that, Califla is also with Kael, which means they both are with Bupa. Captain Kael. At this time, Gabe said quietly, "Then I will also say goodbye first." He also needs to master the power of God in his body as soon as possible. Only in this way can he perfect the transformation of Super Saiyan God. After speaking, Gabe no longer hesitated, turned around and left in a hurry. After Gabe left, the other 2 Saiyans quickly walked to Kael's side and said excitedly, "Kael, you have to treat yourself. Let's go, let's slaughter you today." It's a good thing that the violent girl of Califla is actually favored by Lord Bupa. "Kael, you have to treat yourself." 5. Hearing this, Kael's mouth twitched. Looking at the 2 bad friends beside him, a hint of helplessness flashed in his eyes, and then he didn't care to think about other things, and said, "Go and go. Eat and drink whatever you want after you go back." 7. Chapter 239 Frieza Invasion, Z Warrior Crisis. 7th Universe. Earth. Rumbling. A deafening roar resounded. It can be clearly seen that the dense army of Frieza invades. Nearly a year later, Frieza and his son led a mighty army to come to Earth for revenge. 66 Kill. Zanshin's screams of killing resounded, and it could be seen that the dense crowd of universe people attacked the Z soldiers. For a time, the war broke out quietly. Z fighters, mainly Piccolo, Krillin and others, are fighting those aliens. On the other side of the area, Son Gohan and Azer stood facing each other, and although they didn't fight, they didn't move either. Both of them can clearly feel that the breath conveyed by the other party is full of strong threats to them. Therefore, they do not dare to act trashly now, and they do not dare to understate Azer's actions. Son Gohan is obviously a lot more nervous at the moment. Seeing that the situation of Son Gohan, Trunks and others on the field was getting worse and worse under the siege of aliens, Son Gohan couldn't help clenching his fists. His eyes were full of the urge to go to support Son Gohan. At this time, Frieza's figure quietly came to the field area. After looking at Son Gohan up and down, he said with a grin, I have to say, you really have some strength, and you can actually make me feel threatened. But even so, you are not my son Aize's opponent, so you'd better not act rashly, otherwise, I can't guarantee that the entire Earth will be destroyed directly. Frieza, you, Hearing this, Son Gohan's expression changed. The actions that originally planned to support Son Gohan and others also followed. He dared not act rashly. Either Azer or Frieza made him feel threatened. So, under such circumstances, once he shoots, one of Frieza and Azer will definitely shoot. At that time, Son Gohan and others on the ground will not be his opponents, and the consequences will be unimaginable. Frieza, what are you trying to do? Taking a deep breath, Son Gohan suppressed the anger in his heart and stared at Frieza and asked, doing what? With a cold smile, Frieza's eyes locked on Son Gohan and said, this king has been practicing for so long, naturally for revenge. 35. Son Gohan, hand over Son Goku to me. If he doesn't show up, then the king will kill all the people on the earth, and then destroy the earth. Hearing this, Son Gohan's expression changed. Naturally he could hear what Frieza meant. The latter is looking for revenge on Son Goku, which means that if Son Goku doesn't come back, the latter will definitely not give up, or even. I see. Taking a deep breath, Son Gohan looked at Frieza and said, you tell your subordinates to stop, I'll contact Dad now. No. However, Frieza had no intention of agreeing at all, and after looking at Son Gohan, he immediately said, if you want them to stop, then recall Son Goku. If Son Goku doesn't show up, the king will not order it to stop. Similarly, if you dare to make a move, then the great king doesn't mind killing him in advance. Damn. Years. Hearing this, Son Gohan's face turned ashen, and he looked at Frieza and wanted to cut him into pieces. But now, he also understands that he has no choice. With a stern look at Frieza, Son Gohan turned and sped towards the area where Bupa was not far away. Dad. When Son Gohan left, Aize on the side said quietly, why don't you just shoot? The power of Son Gohan cannot be underestimated. If I give him time, I'm afraid I won't be able to help Dad deal with Son Goku. Hearing this, Frieza smiled slightly. Of course he understood what Azer was referring to, but who was he? He was Frieza. He was the Emperor of the universe. How could the battle of revenge be under the guise of others, even if Azer was his own son? He would not let him intervene. Thinking of this, Frieza immediately said, Azer, your opponent will be Son Gohan. As for Son Goku, leave it to me, and I will kill him myself. For revenge. Good Dad. Hearing this, Azer immediately understood Frieza's thoughts. Although he felt that something was wrong in his heart, Aize didn't refuse anything. At the same time, what he cares more about is whether the current Son Gohan has the ability to rival him. On the other end, Son Gohan hurried to the area where Bulma was. Aunt Bulma. Floating to the ground, Son Gohan said with a serious expression, can your communicator contact Dad? Frieza and his son are too strong, and I'm no match for me alone. 35. Now that I can't take action, Frieza and his son won't take action. If I take action, then if they take action together, the whole Earth will be in danger of destruction. Only by getting Papa back as soon as possible, will Frieza stop his men and the Trunks will be out of danger. Hearing this, Bulma suddenly became enlightened. She also understood why Son Gohan, the strongest, never made a move. It turned out that Frieza and Azer were strong enough to even make him fear them. Let me try. Thinking of this, Bulma said quickly, they are now in the Gods of Destruction world, and I'm not sure if I can contact them. As he spoke, Bulma took out the communicator and started dialing. Beeping. For a time, the voice of the communicator resounded quietly. As time passed, Son Gohan and Bulma's faces also showed impatience. Hello, Bulma. After a while, Son Goku's voice resounded. Pass. Great. Both Son Gohan and Bulma breathed a sigh of relief when they heard Son Goku's 0.7 tone. Immediately afterwards, Bulma said quickly, Goku, come back soon. Frieza has come to invade Earth with his son. Gohan alone is no match for them. Trunks, Goten and others are now in danger. What? Hearing this, Son Goku, who was in the Gods of Destruction world, suddenly exclaimed. For a time, not far away Broly, Borolian, Vegeta, Beerus and Whis also subconsciously looked sideways. In this regard, Son Goku did not care so much, and hurriedly said, I am now too far away in the world of Gods of Destruction. 95. Bulma, you are now turning Gohan into Super Saiyan. As long as his breath spreads to the Gods of Destruction world, I can capture the breath and transmit it back instantly. Chapter 240 Super 3 Gohan Surprised Universe, the end of the Z Warrior. Okay. Hearing this, Bulma nodded immediately, then looked at Son Gohan beside him and said, Gohan, it's up to you. It is good. With a promise, Son Gohan didn't hesitate, and immediately walked to the area aside and shouted, Ha! The next second, Son Gohan's chi became violent, and the whole person directly entered the state of Super Saiyan 3 at this moment. Kakarot, what's the situation? Son Goku, what happened? At the same time, Vegeta and others also came to Son Goku's side at this moment. Compared to the curiosity of Beerus, Whis, Borolian and Broly, Vegeta was a little nervous at the moment. He had heard Bulma's voice, and vaguely heard that the Earth seemed to be in some kind of crisis. Earth has been invaded. After returning to his senses, Son Goku glanced at Vegeta and the others, and then said, "The one who invaded the Earth is Frieza." And according to Bulma, Frieza came this time with his son and his army in addition to himself. Now Gohan can only hold a stalemate with Frieza and the others, but Goten, 20 Piccolo, and Trunks have also encountered a crisis. "If I can't go back as soon as possible, Frieza will not let his men stop." Hiss. Hearing this, Vegeta couldn't help taking a deep breath, and then said with a pale face, "Frieza, this damn guy actually dares to make a fool of himself. If anything happens to Bulma and the Trunks, I'm not going to let him go." 99. On the other hand, Broly and the others on the side suddenly realized it. "Well, is Frieza strong?" 35. Borolian asked curiously. He could remember that Son Gohan had been under the command of Bupa before, and it stands to reason that Son Gohan could not be too weak. Now Son Gohan can't handle it alone, which means it's definitely not easy. "Do not know." Hearing this, Son Goku shook his head and said, "If it's Frieza before, it's definitely not Gohan's opponent. But now even Gohan is not sure to take it down, which means that Frieza's strength has become stronger." Hearing this, Vegeta on the side pouted and said, "It's all because of Son Gohan's lax training." Before Vegeta could finish speaking, Son Gohan's terrifying aura spread into the world of gods of destruction. Rumbling. For a time, the world of gods of destruction shook. Whis was a little surprised. "It's amazing. Son Gohan's power is so strong." "Goku, Vegeta, I'm afraid Son Gohan's power is no less than yours. I really didn't expect that Mr. Bupa's guidance is so powerful, and it has reached such a level in a short period of time." Cut. Hearing this, Vegeta pouted, her expression a little embarrassed at the moment. "I thought that Son Gohan's strength was not strong, which led to the uncertainty of facing Frieza and his son. But now Whis' words have also given him a head-on blow, and Son Gohan's strength is no less than his. This also means that Frieza is really strong now, otherwise Son Gohan would not be able to turn to Son Goku for help. So strong." Gohan really got stronger. On the contrary, Son Goku was excited at the moment, then raised his hand and said, "So, Frieza has also become stronger." Great. I'll go back and fight Frieza now." With that said, Son Goku is about to start the instant transmission. Kakarot, wait a minute. Seeing this, Vegeta spoke quickly. He walked quickly to the area next to Son Goku and put his hand on his shoulder and said, "Take me with you." 95. It is good. Hearing this, Son Goku nodded. Immediately after that, he did not hesitate, and immediately launched instant transmission to disappear from the world of gods of destruction. "Going so fast, I haven't had time to keep up." Seeing this, Broly twitched the corners of his mouth and said with some regret. Hearing this, Boluolian on the side was also a little disappointed. From Son Goku's words just now, it can be seen that Frieza is not weak, and such an opponent is also what he expects. "Wise." At this time, Beerus said quietly, "Take us to Earth." "That guy Frieza is evil enough that if he messes with him, the Earth could be destroyed." 35. Although this god doesn't care about the existence of that little Earth, the food in it is also innocent, and no one is allowed to destroy it. "Okay, Lord Beerus." 99. Hearing this, Whis also brightened up. He is also very concerned about the food on Earth, and now that Beerus has decided to go, he naturally no longer hesitates. With a thought, Whis raised his scepter and was about to leave. Whis, wait a minute. Seeing this situation, Boluolian and Broly immediately stepped forward and said, "Let's go together too." "Yes, let's also see how powerful that Frieza is." Hearing this, Whis nodded with a smile, waving a 7-color beam of light from the sky with a big hand, wrapping Broly, Borolian and Beerus inside, and then swiftly galloping towards the Earth. As the air of Son Gohan swept out, the whole Earth shook. 187. Son Gohan's power in the Super 3 form has reached an extremely terrifying level. The fact that he surpassed the 3rd level increased his combat power by 400 times, and his mysterious state was increased by 1000, which directly made Son Gohan's power reach an extremely terrifying level. Of course, that's not Son Gohan's limit. But the transformation of Super Saiyan God is also the power of God, so Son Goku would not be able to capture it, and naturally it would not be possible to activate instant transmission. So strong. It's terrifying. For a time, Son Goten and the others who were fighting on Earth all exclaimed. At the same time, the alien warriors who besieged Son Goten and others were also terrified. Under such circumstances, the originally fierce siege also slowed down a lot. But even so, such as Klin, Shinhan, Dumplings and others also died in battle, including Master Roshi. Their strength is too poor, and there is absolutely no possibility of reaching those aliens. In particular, these guys have become much stronger under the training of Frieza and Azer during this period, and they are not comparable to ordinary people on Earth. In this case, Son Goten, Trunks, Piccolo and Number 18 are tough to hold. Among them, apart from the fact that Number 18 has an infinite energy furnace, which is relatively easy, Piccolo, Son Goten and Trunks are already extremely tired. Chapter 241 Son Gohan's Rescue. Son Goku's return. Damn it. Seeing the crisis situation of Son Goten and others, Son Gohan couldn't help it at the moment. With a jump, Son Gohan came to midair, raised his hand and countless Kaigong bullets attacked the aliens who besieged Son Goten. Rumbling, the deafening roar resounded, and a large number of aliens died under his hands. Immediately afterwards, he immediately snorted, "Uncle Piccolo, Goten, Trunks, Aunt number 18, come back soon. 5. You are not the opponents of those guys, and there will be no chance of winning if you continue to fight." As soon as these words came out, the four of Son Goten were not reconciled. But he also had to admit that what Son Gohan said made sense. After looking at each other, the four immediately retreated and fled towards the area where Son Gohan was. "Son Gohan, you broke the rules." At this moment, Frieza's icy voice resounded quietly. The next second, the figures of him and Azer appeared in the area beside Son Gohan. Immediately afterwards, Frieza and Azer did not hesitate, and immediately attacked Son Gohan. Not good. Seeing this, Son Gohan's expression changed. The combined attack of Azer and Frieza is definitely not easy for him to deal with. However, he was not afraid of anything, and immediately stepped forward. In the next second, the three figures were fighting together in midair. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. The roar continued to resound. Son Gohan was 1-2, and the whole person fell into a disadvantage in a short period of time. But at the moment he didn't dare to use the Super Saiyan transformation. After all, once he turned into a Super Sailor, his aura would dissipate, and it would be difficult for Son Goku to return. But only Son Gohan in the Super 3 form is not the opponent of Frieza and Azer teaming up. Especially when the Frieza father and son cooperated tacitly. In just a few minutes, Son Gohan already had a lot of scars. Gohan, elder brother, apostrophe. Seeing this, Piccolo and the others on the ground became nervous. They could all see that Son Gohan was no match for the Friezas, and if this continued, the consequences would be absolutely disastrous. But their strength is too weak. There is absolutely no possibility of participating in this battle. Subconsciously clenching his fists, Piccolo said impatiently, "Old son, you have to come back quickly." Zizzy. At this moment, a space vibrated quietly in the area beside Son Gohan. For a time, Frieza and Azer, who were besieging Son Gohan, stopped what they were doing and stepped back. The next second, the two figures distorted, and the figures of Son Goku and Vegeta appeared next to Son Gohan. "Gohan, are you alright?" 35. As soon as he floated to the ground, Son Goku quickly looked at Son Gohan with concern. "Don't worry, Dad, I'm fine." Seeing Son Goku coming back, Son Gohan sighed with relief. Immediately afterwards, Son Gohan restrained the released aura as soon as his mind moved, and said, "Fortunately, it has become stronger during this time, otherwise my chi might not necessarily be able to be transmitted to the gods of destruction world." 99. Hearing this, Son Goku breathed a sigh of relief. Son Gohan was not in danger, which really reassured him. Immediately afterwards, Son Goku seemed to have thought of something, and said in surprise, "Gohan, have you completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 3? This is too powerful." "I completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 3 with the help of wireless energy in hell." "You actually did it straight away, and sure enough, Gohan, your potential is stronger than mine." Hearing this, Vegeta on the side pouted. To be honest, he was quite jealous at the moment. You know, even Prince Saiyan, but he has not completed the transformation of Super Saiyan 3. It can be said that although he has Super Blue strength now, even not worse than Son Goku, the transformation of Super Saiyan 3 is also his eternal pain. "Son Goku, you finally showed up." At this time, Frieza's eyes were locked on Son Goku for the first time, and his eyes were full of murderous intent at the same time. After waiting for so long, the enemy he was looking for finally appeared. Under such circumstances, Frieza could not wait to kill Son Goku now. Frieza. 35. Hearing this, Son Goku didn't care about reminiscing about the old days with Son Gohan. His eyes locked on Frieza and said, "Since you have been resurrected, why don't you live a good life in the universe but come to invade the Earth?" "Why?" Hearing this, Frieza sneered, his eyes locked on Son Goku and said, "What nonsense." "Son Goku, you've kept me trapped in this damn place for so many years. Do you think this king will stop here?" "Son Goku, today is your day of death, and this king will send you to hell to let you experience the pain that this king has experienced." As he said that, Frieza's anger became violent, and he looked at Son Goku with murderous eyes, wishing to slash him immediately. Frieza. Seeing this, Son Goku's expression changed slightly. He could feel that the angry Frieza's anger had reached an extremely terrifying level at this moment. Under such circumstances, Rao's Son Goku also did not dare to be careless, and even did not dare to have any slack. "Kakarot, leave Frieza to me." 99. At this time, Vegeta stepped forward quietly, fixed his eyes on Frieza, and said with murderous intent, "This time, I will kill him with my own hands to avenge the entire Saiyan clan." "Vegeta, you." Hearing this, Son Goku is a bit quit. Frieza exudes a breath not inferior to him, even stronger than 3 points. After being definitely a formidable opponent, Vegeta is now snatching him, which Son Goku is reluctant to accept. Get monies out, that's it. However, before Son Goku could say anything, Vegeta was the first to speak. Immediately afterwards, Vegeta jumped to the area in front of Frieza and said, Frieza, today the Prince of Japan will kill you to avenge the Saiyan family. 5. Vegeta, seeing the figure walking forward, a look of disdain flashed in Frieza's eyes, and then he said, in the past, you were just a dog under the command of this great king. Why, you want to take action against this king now, Vegeta? Have you forgotten the fear of being dominated by this king? Arsehole. Hearing this, Vegeta was furious. Frieza actually said he was a dog, which was definitely not something Vegeta could accept. Damn it, this prince is going to kill you. With a roar, Vegeta's whole body was bright red, and he turned into a super race god and attacked Frieza. Chapter 242 Gold Frieza abused, Vegeta abused. Red, a new transformation. Seeing this, Frieza raised his brows, and there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Immediately afterwards, Frieza did not transform, but directly greeted Vegeta. In the next second, the two figures collided in midair. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. The deafening roar resounded, and Vegeta and Frieza were clearly seen fighting together. In just a few dozen breaths, the two had already fought hundreds of moves. However, it is clear that Frieza's current state is not a match for the super racing god Vegeta. There were a lot of scars all over the body at this moment, and the lavender blood was constantly overflowing. Ha ha. Seeing this, Vegeta burst into laughter, and then his eyes locked on Frieza's body and said, Frieza, see it. This is the strength of this prince. Today the Prince of Japan will kill you. 99. Saying that, Vegeta immediately accelerated and continued to attack Frieza, and the murderous intent in his body became extremely intense at this moment. Kill me. Seeing this situation, Frieza laughed, his eyes flashed with murderous intent. Vegeta, you are really arrogant. If you want to kill the king, it's up to you, a wild monkey. Also, the original King Ben was planning to use this power against 187 Son Goku. 99. Since you want to die, then the king will fulfill you. While speaking, Frieza clenched his fists suddenly, and exclaimed, ha. In the next second, the golden brilliance shines brightly. The terrifying aura swept out, and directly forced the attacking Vegeta to retreat. What's the situation? How can that be? With such a powerful chi, how could Frieza have such power? When she stabilized, Vegeta stared at Frieza with wide eyes, her eyes full of incredible colors. He could already clearly feel that under such circumstances, Frieza's chi had surpassed Super Saiyan himself. Even Frieza's chi was soaring so fast that it seemed like there was no limit. What a joke. How could Frieza have such power? In an instant, Vegeta's face became hideous, her eyes were burning with jealousy, and she immediately raised her hand and countless Kaigong bullets attacked Frieza. Rumble one. Rumbling, a deafening roar, ka, resounded, followed by countless explosions, and it was clear that the area where Frieza was located was boiling with dust. Ha ha. In this regard, Vegeta is laughing. The Frieza just now has not completed his transformation, and he will definitely die if he has become a living target. Vegeta, what are you laughing at? However, before Vegeta could continue to laugh, a cold voice resounded first. In the next second, the golden brilliance blew the dust away, and the golden Frieza figure appeared in the air. At this moment, Frieza's whole body was shining brightly, and there was not even the slightest trace or injury. How is this possible? How can that be? Looking at this scene, Vegeta opened her mouth wide in disbelief. Not only him, but also Son Goku and others in the distance were stunned. It's unbelievable that Vegeta, the Super Saiyan God, can't help Frieza, and even his attack can't hurt him. Damn, how can Frieza be so powerful? 99. Impossible. It's absolutely impossible. How could Frieza be stronger than Super Saiyan? 35. For a time, the exclamations of Trunks and the others continued to resound, and the eyes of each of them also showed a look of horror and panic. During this time, both Son Goku and Vegeta were practicing in the Gods of Destruction world, and neither of them knew the extent of their power. But the Super Saiyan form is definitely an extremely terrifying existence, and the Son Goku of the year could even fight against Gods of Destruction. But what about now? Vegeta in Super Saiyan form can't hurt Frieza at all. This so strong. Is this the new power of Frieza? It is so powerful that it does not quickly transform into a super race god. Watching this scene blankly, Son Goku said with a little astonishment. Originally he had a high regard for Frieza, and was even ready to fight him. But now that Frieza is in his golden form, Son Goku realizes that he still underestimates Frieza. With such a power, Frieza's power is absolutely terrifying, and in a sense, it is not inferior to their super blue form. Good guy. 35. This Frieza transformation is so terrifying. 35. Son Gohan was also stunned, never expecting such a big change to happen. At the same time, he also understood that his previous feelings were not wrong, and the Frieza in front of him did have the power to threaten him. In addition, Frieza's son, Azer, is even more powerful and terrifying. Under such circumstances, if they are not careful, all of them may be defeated. Thinking of this, Son Gohan clenched his fists subconsciously, and then his eyes turned to where Aize was, and the fighting intent in his eyes also quietly poured out. Surprised. Seeing this, Frieza sneered, his eyes locked on Vegeta and said, "Vegeta, now you have to pay the price for offending this king." Saying that, Frieza swayed and instantly appeared in the area in front of Vegeta. Before Vegeta came back to his senses, Frieza punched Vegeta's belly. A badge. With a scream, Vegeta was caught off guard by a blow and flew out, and immediately pierced an island in the distance. With a resounding roar, the island collapsed and fell into the bottom of the sea, and the dust appeared in the sky, and Vegeta's breath was instantly wilted in it. Not good. Seeing this, Son Goku's expression changed drastically. He could feel that Vegeta's situation was not good at the moment, and immediately said, "Gohan, go and save Vegeta." 55. After saying that, Son Goku jumped straight to the area in front of Frieza and said, "Frieza, your opponent is me." Son Goku. Hearing this, Frieza also stopped chasing Vegeta, his eyes locked on Son Goku, and his eyes flashed with murderous intent. "You are finally here. Come on, Son Goku. This king will kill you today to complete his revenge." 35. Hearing this, Son Goku's expression became solemn. He knew very well how dangerous the Frieza in front of him felt to him, and it could be said that once he relaxed, death awaited him. Chapter 243 Son Gohan vs Frieza, Azer vs Son Gohan. War. Even so, Son Goku did not show the slightest cowardice, and with a low growl, he went straight to attack Frieza. "Good come." Seeing this, Frieza laughed, and immediately killed Son Goku. In the next second, the two figures fought together in midair. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. A deafening roar resounded, and Son Goku and Frieza fought in midair. The brilliance of gold and blue intersected with each other, and the power of terror not only spread out at this moment. As the battle between the two became more and more intense, the aftermath of terror began to spread, and the entire area began to vibrate violently. So strong. 35. Amazing. On the ground, Son Goten and Trunks subconsciously shouted, their eyes full of shock and surprise at the moment. Whether it's Son Goku or Frieza, the power revealed at this moment is far greater than when Vegeta fought before. Not only that, but they couldn't even keep up with Son Goku and Frieza as the battle raged. Seeing that the battle was still fierce, Son Goten and others had to start retreating. The aftermath of the battle between the two is too strong, and even a slight accident may be affected by the fear of life. On the other end, Son Gohan is preparing to go to where Vegeta is. However, before he could act, Aize's figure first appeared in the area in front of him, and said, "Son Gohan, you can't go over. It's you." Seeing Aize appearing, Son Gohan's expression changed slightly. He can clearly feel that Aiz's breath is stronger than Frieza, and if he fights with it, even himself has no absolute certainty. However, Son Gohan was not afraid of anything. His eyes then focused on Aize and said, "Do you want to fight with me?" "Certainly." With an indifferent smile, Aize said indifferently, "Apart from Son Goku, you are the strongest, and I can feel that you have more power than Son Goku in the slightest. So, you are my best opponent." Hearing this, Son Gohan's expression changed slightly. His area is stronger than Son Goku, and Son Gohan himself knows that. But Aiz's words still made him feel the seriousness of this matter. The latter chose to block him even though he knew he was stronger, which also meant that Aiz's power was stronger than Frieza. The most important thing is that under such circumstances, he really doesn't know where the limit of the latter is. In that case, let's get started. But Son Gohan didn't have the slightest fear, and after taking a deep breath, his eyes locked on Aize. The next second, Son Gohan slammed violently, accompanied by the radiance of crimson. It can be clearly seen that Son Gohan has become a Super Saiyan God at this moment. For a while, Son Gohan's aura disappeared, but it felt stronger than Son Goku, who was super blue in the distance. Good. Feeling the breath conveyed by Son Gohan, Aize also laughed at the moment. He knew he didn't feel wrong and that Son Gohan in front of him was indeed a good opponent. Without the slightest hesitation, Aize let out a loud shout and attacked Son Gohan directly. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. In the next second, the two figures fought together in midair. As time goes by, it can be clearly seen that Son Gohan's condition is gradually getting worse. After about a year of training, Son Gohan's basic combat power has increased to 5 Gai. After perfecting the Super Saiyan transformation, his combat power has also increased to 300 Z. But even so, there is not much resistance in the face of Azer. You must know that Azer's normal combat power has more than 2,000 types, and the gap between them is completely beyond what Son Gohan can currently touch. Damn, how can it be so powerful? 55. Feeling the oppression of Azer's power, Son Gohan's face changed a little at this moment. He could clearly feel that his own situation was not good, and even under such circumstances, he was not Azer's opponent at all. For a moment, Son Gohan was shocked. I thought Frieza had already made it terrifying, but I didn't expect Azer to be even more terrifying. At this moment, a low roar resounded. Looking at the sound, it can be seen that Vegeta's figure is flying fast at this moment. Looking at the reputation, it can be seen that it has transformed into a super blue form at this moment. Zero ask for flowers 0. After returning to the Encore area, he immediately looked at Frieza, who was fighting with Son Goku, with murderous intent and anger in his eyes. The previous blow did not hurt him very much, but the insult was also extremely strong. But seeing Son Goku and Frieza fighting on a par, Vegeta didn't want to intervene at the moment. Immediately afterwards, Vegeta's eyes subconsciously looked at where Aize was. Looking at the suppressed Son Gohan, he frowned slightly and said, "What is this kid doing?" To be suppressed by Frieza's son. A trace of unhappiness flashed in his eyes, and Vegeta jumped and rushed toward the arena. "Gohan, get out of the way." 35. With a low growl in his mouth, Vegeta raised his hand and fired a Kaigong bullet towards Azer. Vegeta. When the Kaigong bomb struck, a trace of disdain flashed in Aize's eyes. Immediately afterwards, he raised his hand and slapped the attacking Kaigong bullet into the air. After doing all this, Aize locked his eyes on Vegeta and said, "How dare you attack me with this little power?" 35. Vegeta, you're really killing yourself. Saying that, Aize didn't hesitate, and he kicked Son Gohan into the air. Immediately afterwards, Azer hurriedly attacked Vegeta. "It's good to come." Seeing this situation, Vegeta didn't care, and instead said eagerly, "First kill you, and then kill Frieza, that damn guy. Today, both your father and son have to fall here." While speaking, Vegeta also rushed towards Aize boldly, still disdain and arrogance in his eyes. Obviously, Vegeta didn't take Azer seriously. "Uncle Vegeta, be careful." Seeing this, Son Gohan, who had just stabilized his body, hurriedly exclaimed. The current Vegeta's strength is almost the same as him, not even the Son Gohan in Super Saiyan form. If the latter dared to underestimate Aize, Son Gohan could even conclude that the latter would pay a heavy price for it. However, it was not until Vegeta recovered. At this moment, Aize also quietly accelerated to the area in front of him, and then, without hesitation, a punch hit his lower abdomen. Chapter 244 Vegeta's Jealousy. A loud bang. As if struck by lightning, Vegeta's body bowed and bent at this moment. Her eyes were round, her forehead was blue, and she spit out blood when she opened her mouth. In the next second, Vegeta's whole body immediately exited from the super blue state, and his body kept retreating and shaking, and the whole person was in extreme pain. Waste. A single blow severely damaged Vegeta, and Azer's eyes showed a trace of disdain. He raised his hand and was ready to attack again. As in the nick of time, Son Gohan's low roar resounded. In the next second, Son Gohan's figure appeared in Aize's place, punched out and went straight to Aize's face. Seeing this, Aize frowned. He could feel that Son Gohan's power had increased a bit at this moment, and there was still a small threat to himself. Subconsciously, Aize raised his hand to block. With a bang, Aize's whole body was knocked out. 187. It was at this moment that Son Gohan rushed out and attacked Azer again. Okay, Aize didn't care about this at all. Instead he shook his numb arm and said, "Son Gohan, you really gave me a lot of surprises. This power, I recognize you." Dream. Saying that, Aize directly greeted Son Gohan. In the next second, the two figures fought together in midair again. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. The bombardment continued to resound, and Azer and Son Gohan fought together in an instant. At this moment, Son Gohan's combat power has soared a lot, and he can even faintly compete with Azer. Obviously, with the same Super Saiyan transformation, Son Gohan has successfully cultivated himself and has the blood of Super Saiyan, which also causes his limit to be far from what Son Goku and Vegeta can match. How is this possible? Watching this scene blankly, Vegeta was hit hard at the moment. He thought Azer was weak, but I didn't expect the latter to be so terrifying, even more powerful than Frieza. The most difficult thing for him to accept is that Son Gohan is so powerful. He obviously did not learn gods of destruction, even in the form of Chaosai god, but he is actually so powerful, even stronger than himself. Why? At this moment, Vegeta doubts life. I thought I had completed the Super Blue, even if I can't help Beerus, Broly, and Boluolian, they are still powerful within the 7th universe. But what about the result? Frieza has become so much stronger, not inferior to him at all, even slightly stronger. Now a more terrifying Azer appeared, and with one punch, he was so blue that it was difficult to maintain. And there's Son Gohan, this guy who has been cultivating on the earth, who has not even completed the Super Saiyan God before. Why has he become so much stronger all of a sudden, and he is not even an opponent? Bupa. Did he teach all this? 55. Subconsciously, the figure of Bupa appeared in Vegeta's mind. Originally, Vegeta did not take it seriously, and even thought that as long as she worked hard to cultivate, she would soon be able to catch up with the other party. Even when he knew that Son Gohan was studying with Bupa, he was more indifferent or even disdainful. After all, they were learning from Whis, which was beyond gods of destruction. With his guidance, there is absolutely no problem with becoming stronger, and even Son Gohan can't catch up with him. But what about now? Looking at Son Gohan, who was fighting with Aize, and even became more and more brave, his heart at this moment has also become extremely heavy. Wow, is that Gohan's power is so powerful. On the other end, Son Goku, who was fighting, also felt the movement here, and his eyes were full of surprise when he saw Son Gohan's fighting spirit. Son Goku, you are not as good as your son. 33. At this time, Frieza quietly sneered, "What have you cultivated all these years?" Hearing this, Son Goku's eyes flashed with embarrassment. Indeed, as Frieza belongs, he doesn't seem to be as strong as Son Gohan now. But Son Goku is not someone who likes to be jealous, let alone his own child. Thinking of this, Son Goku immediately said, "Gohan's potential is stronger than me, and it is normal to surpass me now." "Frieza, is that your son? He looks so strong, even the current Gohan can't take him down." Hearing this, Frieza's eyes flashed with pride. He was extremely proud of his son Aize's strength, although this feeling of being better than Blue made him a little uncomfortable. But Frieza is not jealous of his son. After all, it is because of the existence of the latter that he can be valued and recognized under Bupa's hands. Thinking of this, Frieza immediately said, "Of course, my son's strength is not comparable to you Saiyan monkeys." "Son Goku, wait, your son is sure to die." Saying that, Frieza let out a loud shout, golden air gushing out from his body, and hurriedly attacked Son Goku. "Good come." Seeing this, Son Goku laughed and immediately stepped forward. He didn't pay much attention to what Frieza said, although Son Gohan at the moment really seemed to have nothing to do with Azer. But Azer obviously couldn't take him, and he didn't even believe that Azer killed Son Gohan. Thinking of this, Son Goku also indulged in the battle with Frieza. Add. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. For a time, the sound of the impact continued to resound. As the fight between Son Goku and Frieza intensifies, so does the fight between Son Gohan and Azer on the other side. The aftermath of the battle between the four continued to spread, and the entire earth shook violently at this moment. "It's over. Goku and Gohan can't take Frieza and his son." "Damn it, Frieza is only strong. How can his son become so strong?" On the ground, Piccolo's face was ashen, and he was a little unacceptable for this scene. Not only their 0.7, but Son Goten and Trunks are all nervous at the moment. After all, if Son Goku and Son Gohan are defeated, the fate of the entire Earth will be completely over. "Vegeta, what are you doing? Don't hurry to help." At this moment, Bulma's voice resounded. She also saw that the situation was not good. Neither Son Goku nor Son Gohan seemed to be able to win. The Frieza father and son alone. So, now the only hope is to get Vegeta to support, and only then can there be a possibility of winning. "Cut, stupid woman." Hearing this, Vegeta pouted. Support, he thought too. But he could barely intervene in Son Gohan and Son Goku battles, especially the battle between Son Gohan and Aize. The aftermath of the aftermath made him unable to hold on. How can we support and join forces? Chapter 245 Beerus comes, Whis' appreciation. Even so, Vegeta was not idle either. In a flash, Vegeta came to the area where Son Goku and Frieza were fighting. He couldn't take part in the fight between Azer and Son Gohan, and he was only able to match the fight between Son Goku and Frieza. So, in such a situation, Vegeta has made up his mind that as long as Son Goku has a tendency to lose, then he will go up. Especially when he was knocked flying by Frieza before, it was definitely a huge shame for him, so he had to take it personally. Vegeta. 5. Almost instantly, Son Goku and Frieza sensed Vegeta's presence. In this regard, Frieza sneered and didn't take it seriously. But Son Goku felt a tinge of urgency, and he knew that if he had a tendency to lose, Vegeta would take over. Thinking of this, Son Goku's fighting spirit also soared rapidly. For a time, his battle with Frieza was obviously more intense, but even with 20, he still couldn't take Frieza. If it was just Frieza who had been training for 4 months before, Son Goku would definitely be able to defeat him easily. But now Frieza has received Bupa's guidance, and has been cultivating frantically for so long with the assistance of Azer. In this case, Frieza is more powerful than the Super Blue Son Goku by 3 points, so he has little chance of losing, especially the Golden Mode. Under Frieza's training, he has become completely skilled at this moment, and even improved to a higher level, without any drawbacks at all. Buzz. At this moment, 7 color light beams descended from the sky. In the next second, Beerus, Whis, Broly, and Boluolian could be seen appearing in the area of the arena. With the appearance of the 4 figures, Piccolo and others in the arena area also looked at him subconsciously. Broly, Master Beerus. With an exclamation, Piccolo and the others were relieved at the moment. The appearance of Beerus and others made them feel a lot more comfortable at the moment. Although everyone had conflicts before, and even fought, but based on their understanding, everyone's situation has improved. Under such circumstances, with the existence of Beerus and others, not only helping to defeat Frieza and others, but at least ensuring the safety of the Earth. Master Beerus. Subconsciously, Bulma stepped forward and asked, "Is Lord Beerus here to defeat Frieza and the others?" As soon as these words came out, Piccolo and others all looked at Beerus. "No." 99. However, Beerus shook his head without hesitation at the moment, and then said, "I came to the Earth this time only to prevent Frieza from destroying the Earth. After all, there are countless delicacies on the Earth waiting for me to eat. If he destroys the Earth, then I will have nothing to eat." As soon as these words came out, a hint of disappointment appeared on the faces of Bulma and the others. Not for anything else, because they all know that since Beerus said so, it means that he really won't intervene in this matter. For a time, Bulma and the others were a little disappointed in their hearts, even unacceptable. Second brother, that person's strength is so strong. At this time, Borolian's eyes were locked on Aize for the first time. Although Aize has not yet transformed, but the more than 2,000 basic combat powers are also compelled to look at. It's really strong. Nodding his head, Broly said solemnly, that guy's combat power is simply terrible. The basic combat power of 2,000 even you and I have not reached such a level. Indeed, for more than a year, although the basic combat power of Broly and Boluolian has been greatly improved, they have only reached the point of Gae. It can be said that their basic combat power is not much more than Son Gohan in a sense. So, even when transformed, they are stronger than Son Gohan. But as his basic combat power is already so terrifying, who can guarantee that he will not transform? Once he transforms, his strength will soar again, and then, Borolian. Subconsciously, Broly then asked, "Do you want to fight with one?" "Certainly." Nodding his head, Boluolian said full of fighting intent, "I can feel that Azer has extremely terrifying potential. So, I also hope to be able to fight with Yi now. Doesn't second brother want to fight with Yi?" "Of course I do." 9. The corners of his mouth rose, and Broly was also looking at Aize with fighting intent at the moment. Before they came, they had guessed that Frieza might not be weak but a good opponent. But he didn't expect to discover Azer's existence after arriving. Compared to Son Goku, Azer's power is what they care about the most, and even value it. "You two can't make a rash move." At this time, Whis said quietly, "Then Azer's strength is very strong and he has stronger power in his body. It should not be used yet. So even if the two of them make a rash shot, they may fail." 5. Hearing this, Broly and Boluolian frowned. After all, according to the current situation, this matter is indeed somewhat difficult to handle. Subconsciously, Borolian said, "Whis, did you see something?" As soon as these words came out, Broly also looked at Whis curiously. "Good." Nodding his head, Whis didn't hide and tuck, and immediately said, "Frieza's son is simply too good. If he hadn't met Borolian before, he'd even be the perfect candidate for gods of destruction." "What?" Hearing this, Broly and Boluolian's expressions changed. According to what Whis said, this Azer is really not to be underestimated. Even Whis admits he's better, even more suited to the gods of destruction backup than Borolian. If that's the case, then this guy won't be able to survive. Subconsciously, Broly's eyes flashed with murderous intent. After such a long time, he has also understood what it means to be a candidate for gods of destruction, and more clearly what this status is for Borolian. Now that the existence of Azer has threatened the status of Borolian, it must be killed. Only in this way can we ensure that the status of Borolian will not be threatened. As soon as he thought of this, Broly stepped out of his body and started to move, and he was about to take action to kill Aize. "Broly, stop!" At the critical moment, a voice resounded quietly. Chapter 246 Bupa's Return, Beerus will to fight. This voice is. Hearing the shouts, Broly's swaying movements paused. Immediately afterwards, Broly and Boluolian subconsciously looked in the direction the voice came from. Not only them, but also Beerus, Whis, and Bulma, who all followed suit. Zizzy. The space is distorted, and Bupa's figure can be seen in the area not far away. Return to the 7th universe. Bupa felt the battle fluctuations on the Earth's side for the first time, and the instant transmission came back in no hurry. Before it even landed completely, Bupa saw that Broly was about to take a shot at Azer. This is not what Bupa wants to see. After all, Aize is now his own disciple and one of his profitable subordinates. If Broly shoots at this time, it won't be good news for him regardless of the outcome. "Brother, big brother." When they saw Bupa appear, Broly and Borolian were overjoyed. Immediately afterwards, the two hurried towards Bupa's place. "Bupa, he's back." Seeing Bupa appear, Beerus and Whis' eyes narrowed slightly at the moment. Although Bupa's departure from the 7th universe is a hidden danger, as angel and gods of destruction, they are also aware of it. It's just that they didn't know that the latter went to that universe, and now the latter has appeared again, which has to arouse their curiosity. Thinking of this, Beerus and Whis looked at each other, and immediately stopped hesitating, and walked towards the area where Bupa was. Bulma and others also walked over. Now the battle on Earth is too fierce, and only people like Beerus can guarantee their own safety. They didn't dare to leave too far, and if they were a little careless, they would be affected by the aftermath of the battle. "Brother, you are finally back." When he arrived at the area where Bupa was located, Broly said excitedly, "Brother, why don't you let me shoot?" Then Azer's power looks good, and he is a good opponent. As soon as these words came out, Boluolian also looked at Bupa curiously. After all, they could all see Azer's strength, and it stands to reason that Bupa wouldn't stop them from fighting against the strong. "As is my disciple." 35. Looking at Broly, Bupa didn't hide it, and said indifferently, "So if you shoot at him, it's a fight among your own people." "What?" Azer is a disciple of Bupa. Hearing this, Broly and others were stunned. Never thought that Azer would actually become Bupa's disciple. At the same time, Broly also understands why Bupa doesn't allow himself to shoot. Immediately afterwards, Broly asked curiously, "Brother, that Azer is your disciple?" How is his strength? Does he still have the ability to transform? As soon as these words came out, Boluolian and others also looked at Bupa curiously. Since the latter is his disciple, it stands to reason that Bupa should also know the latter's information. This is definitely intriguing and anticipating for them. Good. Nodding, Bupa glanced at Broly, and then said, Azer is the most powerful being in the frozen demon race. 5. In addition, I gave him a drop of the ancient frozen demon blood before, and he also got the inheritance of the ancient frozen demon. In this case, Azer has also mastered 2 transformation abilities, one of which is the golden mode that Frieza has displayed at this moment. The transformation increase of the golden mode is not inferior to that of Super Saiyan, so even you have no certainty that you can beat him. Hiss. After listening to this, Boluolian couldn't help taking a deep breath. Azer's basic combat power is so terrifying. It's actually not inferior to the transformation form of Chaosai God. Doesn't this mean that the latter really surpasses himself? Thinking of this, Broly and Bluolian looked at each other, and then the fighting intent in their eyes also burst out crazily. Big brother. Subconsciously, Boluolian said, since Azer is so powerful, I want to fight with him even more. Good. Broly also nodded. When he saw Azer's strength before, he was already ready to move. Now that he knows the true strength of the latter, he is even more looking forward to fighting it. Don't worry. In this regard, Bupa smiled indifferently, and then said, the purpose of Azer and Frieza coming to Earth this time is to seek revenge on Son Goku and others, so you don't need to intervene. 5. After their battle is over, I won't stop you from fighting with them. As soon as these words came out, Broly and Bluolian nodded. This is also to understand that Bupa is not stopping them, but not allowing them to intervene rashly now. Thinking of this, although Broly and Bluolian were full of fighting spirit, they still quickly suppressed this emotion. After all, everyone is their own. And then there will be enough time for them to learn and fight. Wait a minute. At this time, Bulma stepped forward a little impatiently. Bupa, since Azer is your disciple, shouldn't Frieza also listen to you? In that case, can you make them stop fighting? Bulma could see that something was wrong, and Bupa said that Azer was his disciple. If Broly and others don't make a shot, then from the current situation, Son Goku, Vegeta and Son Gohan are obviously not the opponents of Frieza and his son. If it fails, the consequences will be unimaginable. Even. Why stop? Glancing at Bulma, Bupa said indifferently, this is Frieza's revenge, why should I stop him? Hearing this, Bulma opened her mouth and didn't know what to say. Indeed, Frieza was the enemy, but it was also against them, and there was no problem with Bupa. Frieza is a bad guy. 95. At this time, Son Gohan on the side spoke subconsciously. Bad man. Glancing at Son Gohan, Bupa said indifferently, the bad guy you're talking about is only for you. But Frieza is an obedient subordinate in front of me, so why should I take action against my subordinates? As soon as these words came out, Son Gohan didn't know what to say. Frieza is Bupa's subordinate Gan. They say Frieza is a bad guy. Does that mean Bupa is a bad guy too? For a while, the atmosphere in the venue became somewhat deadly, even depressed. Bupa. At this time, Beerus stepped forward and stared at Bupa with piercing eyes. Do you want to fight again? Chapter 247. Beerus' confidence. Borolian's wrong path. Hearing this, Bupa gave Beerus a surprised look. The latter actually asked him to invite him to fight again. Could it be that he has improved during this time? Thinking of this, Bupa subconsciously said, okay. Immediately afterwards, he ordered the system, check the information of Beerus, Broly and Borolian. In the next second, the information of the 3 of Beerus appeared in front of him. Beerus, race, God. Combat strength, 1 positive. Transformation, Gods of Destruction mode. Ability, Ultra Instinct. Destruction. 1 positive combat power. Good guy. Beerus has improved so much in a short period of time. Ultra Instinct. His Ultra Instinct is complete. No wonder this guy is so confident. Broly. Race. Saiyan. Bloodline. Medium passage. Combat strength. 300 Gai. Transformation. Anger. Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 4. Quincow mode. Quincow 2. Ability. Prince Tactics. Kaioken. Final Flash. Loyalty. 100, 300 Gao base combat power. Yes, it seems that Broly's improvement during this period is also huge. According to his current situation, after he displays his rage state and exceeds 1904, his strength will reach 240.35. Borolian. Race, Saiyan. Bloodline, Superior Bloodline. Combat strength, 500 Gai. Transformation, Anger, Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Quin Super Mode, Super Saiyan Blue. Abilities, Final Flash, Prince Tactics, Destruction Energy Cannon. Loyalty, 98, 500 Gao base combat power. Very well, Boluolian has improved quite rapidly during this period of time. However, he actually learned the Super Saiyan God, and he has also developed the Super Blue form. It's really a bit of an avoidance. After reading Borolian's message, Bupa frowned. He doesn't deny that Super Saiyan is powerful, but it is only powerful for ordinary Saiyan. But for Chuanchao, honestly cultivating Super 4 and Super 5 is the best choice. Not to mention that Borolian's anger state has 3 full stages, which is completely incomparable to Bupa and Broly. It can be said that as long as Boluolian insists on Super 4 cultivation, he will definitely be stronger than Super Saiyan and Super Blue. It seems that Boluolian has to be instructed to complete the Super 4. His misconceptions must be turned around. In addition, his own bloodline power can be compatible with Chaosai and Chuanchao transformation, and to practice Jiao Blue is a waste of his own potential. After making up his mind, Bupa raised his head and looked at Beerus. But Lord Beerus, we are not going to fight now. 99. After all, it's on Earth now. If you and I make a move, the entire Earth will turn into dust. Hearing this, Beerus nodded immediately. He is quite concerned about the region. After all, he has not eaten enough of the food in it, and it is impossible to give up. Thinking of this, Beerus immediately said, if that's the case, let's wait until we return to the Gods of Destruction world. But Bupa, where have you been all this time? You seem to have left the 7th universe before. No matter how I look, I can't find your traces and traces. As soon as these words came out, Whis' eyes also turned to Bupa. He knows Bupa's origin and identity, and even more clearly what it means if the latter runs around. I went to 6th universe. Facing the gazes of Beerus and Whis, Bupa smiled indifferently at the moment, writing very lightly. 6th universe. Hearing this, Beerus and Whis both frowned. They didn't even think that Bupa would go to the 6th universe, especially Whis. He even wondered if Bupa went to the 6th universe to find Vados. After all, Carries asked Bupa to come to the main universe, which means that the latter must have an explanation. But in such a situation, Whis is not easy to open his mouth and continue to ask. What are you doing in that Champa guy's universe? However, Beerus has no scruples in this regard at the moment, and said very unhappily, you won't be Saiyan of the 6th universe, right? 99. Unlike Whis who knows Bupa's origins, Beerus is ignorant of his identity. It was because of this that Beerus was more skeptical at the moment. If Bupa is really Saiyan from the 6th universe, it's not good news for him. After all, although he and Champa are brothers, they are also rivals. No. Waving his hand, Bupa smiled lightly and said, I'm not Saiyan from the 6th universe. I went to the 6th universe this time to capture a few seedlings with good potential. I see. Hearing this, Beerus immediately understood. Although I don't know what Bupa's purpose is, after the latter came to the 7th universe, he first subdued Borolian, Son Gohan, and then Frieza and his son. This also means that he has his own plan, and it seems that it is nothing to go to the 6th universe to subdue his subordinates. Big brother. 35. At this time, Broly on the side was curious, is Saiyan from the 6th universe strong? Yeah, what is the strength of Saiyan in the 6th universe? Borolian also asked curiously. They have all seen Saiyan of the 7th universe, but they have never seen Saiyan of the 6th universe. The Saiyan of the 6th universe will not be super transformed, nor will he be super sailing. 35. With an indifferent smile, Bupa glanced at Broly and Blue and said, but I also taught them the method of transformation this time. In a sense, their overall strength will be greatly improved. And among the people I subdued this time, there is also a super bloodline, although it has not grown up yet, but I believe it will become stronger in the future. Transmit super blood. Hearing this, Broly and Borolian's eyes lit up, and then they were full of fighting intent. Really? 99. There is also a rumor in the 6th universe that there is a super bloodline. Very good, really looking forward to a fight with foresight. On the other hand, Beerus frowned. Bupa taught the 6th universe Saiyan Super Saiyan and the Super Saiyan transformation method, which means that the strength of the 6th universe will be greatly improved. You must know that there are also strong and weak points among the 12 universes, and there is also a score. The 7th universe has always been able to suppress the 6th universe, especially now that Borolian, Son Goku, Son Gohan and others have appeared. But now Bupa actually taught the 6th universe Saiyan transformation method. That Chapter 248 Crazy Beerus, Saiyan spawned the plan. Bupa. Subconsciously, Beerus then asked, how about the number of Saiyans in the 6th universe? At this moment, Beerus was quite nervous, even vaguely regret letting Frieza destroy the Saiyan race of the 7th universe. After all Saiyan's potential he has really seen. If the Saiyan clan is not destroyed, then the rating and power of the 7th universe can soar rapidly. Looking at Beerus, Bupa immediately understood what he was thinking, and the corners of his mouth rose. I don't have any specific statistics. 55. However, Saiyan of the 6th universe is a peaceful warrior, so he did not anger anyone, and the number of his races is quite large. 39. There are hundreds of thousands of Saiyans I've seen on Saiyan planet before, not to mention those who are not on Saiyan planet. What? A few millions? Hearing this, Beerus' face turned pale. At least hundreds of thousands of Saiyans, which means that once they all grow up, the rating of the 6th universe will reach a high level, even surpassing the 7th universe. For a moment, Beerus became anxious. Thinking of Champa's proud face, He subconsciously clenched his fists, and said rather unwillingly, there are a lot of Saiyans, but it doesn't mean that they can all become stronger. Beerus knows that Saiyan and Super Saiyan are completely two concepts. There are many Saiyans in the 7th universe before, but they can't compare with the current Son Goku and others. No, you are wrong, Lord Beerus. However, Whis on the side spoke quietly at the moment. According to the information I know, Saiyans of the 6th universe are all peace fighters, which means that the S cells in their bodies will be very active. In addition, Mr. Bupa has taught the transformation method to the people of the 6th universe, so Saiyan of the 6th universe will probably transform into Super Saiyan on a large scale. And once they master the transformation of Super Saiyan more and more deeply, they can even mass produce Super Saiyan God on a large scale. What? Hearing this, Beerus was completely dumbfounded. Mass production Super Ace God. This is definitely not good news. You must know that the combat power of a Super Saiyan God can almost reach this level. Once the 6th universe has a combat power of hundreds of thousands of Gai, the score of the 6th universe will be far higher than that of the 7th universe. Thinking of this, Beerus immediately turned to look at Whis and said, Whis, can you revive Saiyan from the 7th universe? At this moment, Beerus was completely anxious. Once the situation of the 6th universe surpasses that of the 7th universe, he will inevitably encounter huge punishment. After all, the 6th universe and the 7th universe are linked together, so it can be said that the situation on both sides is almost the same. It's just that the scores of the two sides were almost the same before. But if there is a problem in the current situation, the consequences are absolutely unimaginable. No, Lord Beerus. Glancing at Beerus, Whis didn't know what he was thinking, and immediately said, Saiyan of the 7th universe has been dead for decades and cannot be resurrected. Besides that, Saiyan's strength was so weak back then that he didn't even take him in the underworld. So in this case, there are only 5 Saiyans left in the 7th universe, Son Goku, Vegeta, Son Gohan, Son Goten and Trunks. Damn. Hearing this, Beerus was completely furious. Unexpectedly, the situation in the 7th universe was already so bad. He subconsciously looked at Bupa and said, why did you teach the method of transformation to those guys in the 6th universe? You helped improve the rating of the 6th universe, so I'm going to be laughed at by that guy Champa, and even punished by Xeno-sama. For a time, Beerus was a little confused at the moment. The current situation is really bad, and it is definitely not good news for him. Beerus, this should be your problem. In this regard, Bupa smiled indifferently, and then said, if you hadn't let Frieza destroy the Saiyan clan, the 7th universe would have had a huge number of Saiyans. Unfortunately, there is no possibility of regret now. The Saiyan family has been destroyed. If the 7th universe wants to get more Saiyan, unless you let Son Goku, Son Gohan breed on Earth. With Saiyan's physique, as long as they combine with women on Earth, it won't take long for a large number of Saiyans to be born. Zero flowers zero. And there is artificial technology on the Earth. As long as Son Goku and the others are willing, a group of hybrid Saiyans who look at Son Gohan can be born. Grumbling. Hearing this, Beerus swallowed and turned his head to look at Whis subconsciously. Whis, this plan is feasible? 35. It should be possible. Hearing this, Whis gave Bupa a deep look, and then said, but in that case, Mr. Son Goku and the others will have to work hard. After all, wanting to give birth to a race is not something that can be accomplished overnight. Besides, the number of humans on the Earth is extremely huge, and if Saiyan continues to be born, I am afraid that the Earth will not be able to bear it. 35.0. After all, not every Saiyan can control his own sanity, and the consequences will be unimaginable once he goes wild. However, Beerus was not in Whis's words at the moment. Hearing that things were feasible, he immediately said without hesitation, if that's the case, then let Son Goku, Vegeta and Son Gohan work hard for me to have children. Mr. Hundreds of thousands of Saiyan came out and cultivated for decades. We must not let that guy's 6th universe surpass our 7th universe. As for the stability of the Earth, tell Supreme Kai to let him come over to expand the Earth. First increase the scale to the size of the sun, and then increase the size of the sun. Hiss. Looking at the determined Beerus, Bupa couldn't help taking a deep breath. Unexpectedly, Beerus was really going to start the spawning plan in a frenzy when he said casually, once Beerus is really successful, the Saiyan race of the 7th universe will also flourish. Even when the time comes, Son Goku and the Saiyans will have countless descendants. No, I don't agree. At this time, Bulma spoke quietly. Although she didn't know about the 6th and 7th universes, she also understood what Beerus was going to do. That's for Son Goku, Son Gohan and Vegeta to be the stallions. That's her husband. How could she possibly agree to let Vegeta open a harem? 7. Chapter 249 Son Gohan's defeat, Boluolian vs Aize. You? Glancing at Bulma, Beerus said unceremoniously, objection is invalid. Human, if you dare to stop it, then I will destroy you first. No one can stop my plan, for the future of the 7th universe. Enough hybrid Saiyans must be born. As soon as these words came out, Bulma was instantly frightened. She didn't expect Beerus to be so ruthless, especially the latter's no-joking expression at this moment, which made Bulma know that she really had no choice. For a moment, Bulma only felt that his whole body was about to crack. After all, if it really follows Beerus' plan, there will be tens of thousands of children of Son Goku, Vegeta or Son Gohan. The main thing is that even Son Goten and Trunks are going to be caught before the plan is completed. 19-0. At this time, Bupa on the side couldn't stand it. If Beerus really messed up, wouldn't Sonny Goku and the others take down all the women on Earth? Even if he is a traveler, he has never done such a crazy thing. How can Sonny Goku and others be so happy? Thinking of this, Bupa immediately said, Bulma, aren't you a scientist? In this case, you should be very clear that children can also be nurtured. As long as you get enough eggs, plus Son Goku, Vegeta and their sperm, you can artificially create babies. 5. Although Saiyan is to be cultivated, it can still be manipulated. 35. Hearing this, Bulma's body trembled. Immediately afterwards, a look of joy appeared on her face, and she said, yeah, why didn't I think of it? Although artificial creation is somewhat contrary to modern science, it is possible to create enough mixed-race Saiyan, and they are no different from normal children. It just needs some people to teach it, which is not a problem for universal capsules at all. Thinking of this, Bulma sighed with relief. Since there is no way to change the birth plan of Beerus, the only way to ensure that Sonny Goku and others will not mess up. At this moment, a scream resounded quietly. Looking at the sound, Son Gohan screamed and fell from the air. Under the battle with Aize, Son Gohan's combat power has reached the point of more than 1000 Z, but it was not Azer's opponent at all, which also led to his defeat. Gohan, apostrophe. Seeing this, Piccolo and Son Goten instantly became nervous. After all, Son Gohan is now losing, which is definitely not good news for them. Failed? Seeing this, Bupa frowned. It stands to reason that even if Son Gohan's Super Ace God bloodline is lost to Aize, he can still hold on for a while. Now that he was directly defeated, this must have been caused by the incomplete bloodline of the Super Ace God. Thinking of this, Bupa immediately said, Broly, go and bring Son Gohan back. Borolian, go and play with Aize. Yes. 35. Yes. 5. With a promise, Broly and Borolian immediately followed suit. In the next second, the figures of the two of them sprang out. In a moment, Broly's figure arrived at Son Gohan's place. Glancing at Son Gohan's bruised face, he immediately picked him up and flew towards Bupa without hesitation. Seeing this, Azer frowned, and immediately raised his hand and aimed at Broly to attack. After all, Son Gohan was his opponent and his prey. Now that someone wanted to save him, he naturally couldn't agree. Aize, your opponent is me. However, before Azer could take action, Boluolian's figure was the first to arrive at the area in front of him. Immediately afterwards, Boluolian said with full of fighting spirit, you are very strong, and you are the opponent I am looking for, and you are the disciple of the eldest brother. Just let me try to see where your limits are. Hearing this, Aize raised his brows, looked Boluolian up and down for a moment and said, are you Master Bupa's younger brother? Good. Nodding his head, Boluolian said indifferently, my eldest brother is also over there. This Son Gohan is also his subordinate, so you can't kill him. Hearing this, Aize nodded immediately. He really didn't know about Son Gohan being Bupa's subordinate, but now that it has been confirmed, Azer really can't kill the killer. 0. Immediately afterwards, his gaze followed Boluolian's body for a moment and said, although you are the Master's younger brother, I will not be merciful. Transform and let me see how your power compares to the Son Gohan before. 55. It is good. Hearing this, Boluolian nodded. Aize is Bupa's disciple, he will not kill the killer, and he has no intention of killing the other party. Now he is more about trying to see where Azer's limits are. After all, I learned from Bupa's mouth before that this Azer also has a transformation that is not inferior to Super Saigon. Thinking of this, Boluolian no longer hesitated, clenched his fists and shouted, ha! In the next second, Boluolian's body began to grow. When he reached a height of more than 3 meters, Boluolian's chi increased to 5,000 Gai. After reaching a height of more than 5 meters, Boluolian's chi reached the level of 5 Z. When he reached the height of more than 7 meters, Boluolian's chi reached the level of 50 Z. After all this was done, Boluolian clenched his fists and exclaimed, ha! In the next second, the golden brilliance shone brightly, and Boluolian immediately launched a Super 3 transformation. In an instant, Boluolian entered the Super 3 state, and the chi of the whole person soared 800 times, and the combat power soared to the level of 4 rang. Come on. After completing the transformation, Boluolian did not continue to use the Super Transfer mode, but hooked 0.7 to Aize. Let me see where your limits are. 39. It is good. Feeling the terrifying aura conveyed by Boluolian, Aize's expression became serious at the moment. Immediately afterwards, he no longer hesitated, and without hesitation, he attacked Boluolian. Good come. Seeing this situation, Boluolian laughed, and immediately stepped forward to meet Aize. In the next second, the two figures were fighting together in midair. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang. The deafening roar resounded, and one could clearly see that Azer's figure was extremely embarrassed under the attack of Bluolian. For nothing else, the difference in combat power between the two sides is too great, and Azer, who only has more than 2,000 combat powers, is not his opponent at all. Chapter 250 Son Gohan breaks and stands up. The real super race god is born. Call out. With the sound of breaking through the air, Broly brought Son Gohan to the area where Bupa was. After Son Gohan was put down, Broly said, "Big brother, his injury is not minor, and it seems that there is an internal injury. This internal injury should not be caused by Aize, but may be caused by his own cultivation." Internal injury? Raising his brows, Bupa's eyes showed a hint of surprise. Immediately afterwards, Bupa said directly, "System, check Son Gohan's information." 5. In the next second, Son Gohan's message appeared in front of his eyes. Son Gohan, race, hybrid Saiyan, bloodline, second-class super race god. Combat strength, 5 Gai, passive, mysterious state. Transformation, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan. Ability, Kamehameha Wave, Magic Flash, Magic Light Cannon. Loyalty, 100. Is the mysterious state transformed into passive? And it is the passive version of the full version of the mysterious state. It seems that Son Gohan's potential 20 is really strong enough. After reading Son Gohan's message, Bupa's eyes couldn't help but flash with surprise. With his eyes, it is natural to see how Son Gohan is now. The bloodline of Chaosai God has completely transformed his mysterious state into a normal state, and it is even a 1,000-fold increase in combat power. No wonder Son Gohan's combat power has increased to 5 Gai in a short period of time. You must know that even the current Son Goku and Vegeta's basic combat power has not reached such a level. Give it to me. With an indifferent smile, Bupa came back to his senses and took out a fairy bin and threw it to Broly. Give it to him. 35. Xiandu's power should be able to completely repair his internal injuries. It is good. With a promise, Broly immediately picked up the fairy bin and put it into Son Gohan's mouth. Gyudu. Son Gohan's body trembled when Xiandu swallowed. Immediately afterwards, as the power of the fairy bins began to work, the injury on his body quickly recovered. After a while, Son Gohan woke up. At the same time, under the action of Xiandu, the dark wounds in his body are also recovering rapidly. With a loud shout, Son Gohan suddenly stood up from the ground. With the completion of the repair of the dark wound, the chi in Son Gohan's body increased rapidly at this moment, from the original 5 Gai directly to 10 Gao. After completing the breakthrough, Son Gohan opened his eyes. After seeing Bupa standing not far away, Son Gohan's eyes flashed with excitement. He bowed and saluted. "I have seen Lord Bupa." "Thank you Lord Bupa for your rescue." He knew very well that the fairy bins on Earth had been exhausted. Under such circumstances, the only person who can give him the fairy bins is Bupa. Nodding his head, Bupa waved his hand and said, "Don't be too polite." 35. At this moment, Son Gohan's combat power has increased, and his current combat power has also increased by 5. Although this is a little small compared to the basic combat power of Buparang, it is also a good gain. Thinking of this, Bupa immediately asked, "How does it feel? Can the power of Chaosai God be fully grasped?" "Yes." 35. Nodding his head, Son Gohan said excitedly, "My dark wound has completely recovered. The power of the Super Saiyan God also completely merged with me at this moment." 35. Speaking of which, I have to thank Aize. If it weren't for him, he would be seriously injured. Even with the repair of Xiandu, I'm afraid it would be difficult to complete the transformation of Super Saiyan God in the true sense in a short period of time. The real Super Saiyan God? Hearing this, Beerus looked at Son Gohan subconsciously, puzzled. "Son Gohan, you said the real Super Saiyan God, a Son Goku and Vegeta's Super Saiyan God incomplete?" Master Beerus. Seeing Beerus, Son Gohan didn't dare to neglect, and hurriedly clasped his fists and saluted. "Yes. The transformation of Dad and Uncle Vegeta is not the real Super Saiyan God. This is what Mr. Bupa pointed me to. The real Super Saiyan God relies on his own strength to cultivate the power of God, and even complete the transformation of Super Saiyan. Now that I have completed this step, it has also caused all my chi to be transformed into the power of God. Not only that, but under such circumstances, once I transform into a Super Saiyan God, I will gain 1,000,000 combat power increase, which is incomparable to the Super Saiyan God of my father and Uncle Vegeta. God's power. 1,000,000-fold increase in combat power. After listening to Son Gohan's narration, Beerus' eyes showed a hint of astonishment, and murmured, "So it is." 5. No wonder the Super Saiyan God said by the prophecy fish can beat me. It turns out that neither Son Goku nor Vegeta transformed into the real Super Saiyan God. But now that you have become Super Saiyan God, it means that you will have the power to defeat me in the future. 1,000,000-fold increase in combat power. This is indeed the possibility of defeating me. Not bad, not bad. At this moment, Beerus was full of fighting spirit. Originally, he didn't care too much about Son Goku and Vegeta. After all, he could already see the limits of the two. Even if it reaches the level of rivalry with oneself, it cannot be accomplished overnight. And after completing Super Blue Form 190, Son Goku and Vegeta's transformations have almost reached their limit. Unless the two of them become gods completely, they can't be Beerus' opponents. After all, the power of the gods consumed after their transformation was too great. Even Son Goku and Vegeta couldn't last long. Not to mention that Beerus has Ultra Instinct. No one can beat him anytime soon. But now Son Gohan has completed the transformation of the real Super Saiyan God, which makes Beerus look forward to it. This is just the normal Super Saiyan God. If he also completes the Super Saiyan God Blue, will it be more powerful? Whis. Subconsciously, Beerus said, "What do you think of this Son Gohan? I feel like he's a better fit than Son Goku and Vegeta." Hearing this, Whis' eyes flashed. Although I don't want to admit it, I have to say that Son Gohan has indeed surpassed Son Goku and Vegeta after receiving Bupa's guidance, and even surpassed it extremely thoroughly. It seems that it would be a better choice to make him Supreme Kai. And unlike Son Goku and Vegeta who have nothing to do with Bupa, Son Gohan is Bupa's subordinate, or even a half-disciple. In a situation like this, pairing Son Gohan with Borolian seems like the best option. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, link is in the description. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.